These influencers are sus. Something smells off. And it ain't waffle fries.
We are better than you niggas, period.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
I missed him a lot today.
You ready for me yet?
And we're ready to go.
My Twitch Trinity, y'all need to check out Yella. Y'all need to check out Kawhi Bree. Y'all need to check out Arshawn.
Absolutely. Shout out to those three.
They lie, they procrastinate, they avoid, they're grandiose, they're narcissistic, they're undisciplined, they're nihilistic, they're aimless, all of those things, right? Victim mentality. They take the quick way out. They pursue impulsive pleasures. They sacrifice meaning for expediency. They don't take care of their basic responsibilities. They fight stupidly with their parents. They don't negotiate properly with their spouse. They're bitter at work because they haven't said what they have to say. They haven't thought through what they're doing tomorrow. They drink too much. They smoke too much. They take too many drugs. They don't regulate their so there's like, and everyone knows, man. Everyone knows. And that you have a section for comments where it's real human beings that are verified, and you have another section underneath that's for anonymous troll demons. And if you want to go visit their hell and see what their resentful minds are spewing into the public landscape, then you can. Otherwise, you stick to the real human beings.
It's little one, and I need someone so high.
Wash away the toxicity.
With no brush on, and the candles moving, and the candles moving, and it's time for you to join the current. Here we go again. Critically drinking, stay thirsty, my friends. Burning the clouds and hoping never.
Hustle and grind culture is another version of it. I can sleep when I'm dead. You'll be dead.
It's showtime. Come in and have a drink with our whole crew. Come on and join the panel or troll from the chat. Do it how you wanna do. The misfit goods keep the whole chat lit. Ooh, and soon you'll be a part of it too. So come back again, my friend, or we'll come find you. Here we go again.
What's up?
Critically drinking, stay thirsty, my friend. Burning love and hoping never. If it does, oh, we'll be back again. Now let's make one thing clear. Because of you is why we're here. You give us life, you give us love. That is why we want you dear to our heart. Come and join the show, cause we need you to grow. So pull up a chair and share with us all of the things you know. Here we go again. Critically drinking, stay thirsty, my friend. Burning the love and hoping never. If it does.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
For the 20th century, every decade pretty much had an ism.
I need to brush up on my isms.
Hey, yo, what's ism? Get the money. Yeah, it's ism, get the money.
Ideologies are always really kind of difficult because they're ideas, they're different ways of looking at the world, and they all end in ism, and isms are intimidating. So today, let me see if I can help you understand the isms.
One time, I thought I told you, nigga. Niggas know a nigga about his isms.
isms have done so much damage, but people still believe in them.
Talking shit, I might just have to get him. Had to get him. Bitch, I got that flow, I got that whiz. I got that whiz. Bitch, say no to me, I'm Mr. Ism. Mr. Ism.
I hereby turn over to Ism Incorporated everything I have, including my freedom and the freedom of my children and my children's children, in return for which said Ism promises to take care of me forever.
Isms nigga, Isms nigga, Isms nigga, Isms nigga. Thought I told you I'ma have to get him, nigga. Oh, bitch, I got that flow, I got that whiz, I got that whiz. Bitch, say no to me, I'm Mr.
Isms, in my opinion, are not good. A person should not believe in an ism. He should believe in himself.
And not be clouded with the great isms.
Bitch! What the fuck? Now you about to fucking lose it. Woo. Niggas know a nigga about his isms. About his isms. Talking shit, I might just have to get him. Have to get him. Bitch, I got that flow, I got that whiz. I got that whiz. Bitch, say no to me, I'm Mr. Ism. Mr. Ism. Isms nigga, Isms nigga, Isms nigga, Isms nigga. Thought I told you I'ma have to get him, nigga. Oh, bitch, I got that flow, I got that whiz, I got that whiz. Bitch, say no to me, I'm Mr. Ism. Yes.
I was like, if you don't get your ass off my channel.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Critically Drinking, and today, of course, is the Isms Show. Hello, Kawaii Bree. How are you today?
I'm great. This is the first stream back at home.
Welcome back. Welcome back. You know we definitely miss you. So glad to have you back in these streams because they was dry. They was dry.
Yeah, I had my twin Kawaii 3. What he call her 4, 5, 6? She was
Regular Kawaii. What was it?
Yeah,
regular Bree 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, I was garden variety Bree. So it's cool.
That was
but we back.
Thank you, Yellow Pill, for being in the building. I know you was in here early, man. Dropping a like, appreciate you. That girl Mezzo. Wish you could stay for the answer. Have a good stream. Thank you for popping through. I know you probably working and everything. Good looking out on the. Oh, I forgot to change my emotes. God dang it. Yeah, Candid in the building. What's up, Candid? Hello,
I have
hello.
a feeling they're gonna work out fine.
The emotes, you silly. Chef Nia, thank you. I did add a flavor packet, but I do have my water. Thank you for popping through. Good to see you. Good to see you. Everybody on the Twitch side, everybody on the YouTube side, thank you, everybody, for popping through. And Nia, hello. Thank you. Good to see you again, as always. Thank you all for being here. So hello, everyone. Yellow Pills in the building. What generation is Gen X? Gen X, yes, that is from what, 1980
Basically
to
42 to yeah, they 42. I don't know where the boomers start.
Yeah, I want to say 1980 to 1960-ish, like around that range. So people that were born from 60 to 80, 1960 to 1980, that's Gen X.
Yeah.
Well, Talk Productions, Wally in the building, new logo. Who this? What up, WTP? Wally in the building. Well, thank you everybody for being here.
Hey y'all.
Yes. I do want to find some music. I didn't think about the music ahead of time. You know, I gotta have something
You
about
play Beyonce.
It's not happening, Brie.
Okay, well.
I need something.
That's all I got.
to...
That's all I got. Play
all that stuff I did preparing earlier. I don't know why. I didn't think about music. What's this one?
Oh, like some license free. No, 88 is millennials. I think millennials started like like 82 or something. 80, basically 81.
Kind of
81.
British. Isn't me British? That's a little.
I can't hear it.
You can't hear it?
No. Am I tripping? My volume isn't low. I don't hear it.
You don't need to hear it. It's all good. Everybody, and thank you. I appreciate that. No, 88 definitely would not be Gen X. That's what did you already say? Millennial? You already said millennial, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's a millennial. After that comes Y. What? You born after 2000? That's Generation Y, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then
No.
No, XY. Millennials are the Ys. Millennials are the Ys. And then 2000 are the Zs or Zennials.
Zs.
I've heard them called.
No, Zennials are the ones in between X
Millennial
and
and Z?
millennials. No, and millennials. No, it's like you know
No,
how
there's
like
a
you
Z
always.
Zennial. There's an X Zennial. That's a.
Oh, I thought you meant the
There's
X.
one with an X and then one
Zennial.
with a Z. No, the one with the Z.
Okay, X Zennial. Okay.
Yeah,
Gen
there's one with a
Z.
Z. There's too
Yeah,
many.
I think Z ends at like anybody 10. I think 10 and up is Z. So 10 years old to like 20. It's good to just think about like 20-year chunks. That's probably easier.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is too.
Right.
Gen Z is the good one. Get out of here, Nova. Get out of here.
Gen
But I'm
Zers
gonna-
are interesting.
Are they?
Yeah, I like them.
Are they?
They just might change the world.
They might. I hope so. But thank you, Candidan, for the follow. Got that follow through yesterday. Thank you. And the resub. Thank you for the resub, Nova. Now, because I know I turned off my stuff. Give me a second. This is about to be, y'all, this is about to be ghetto. Give me a second. Thank you, Nova. Background about to look all crazy. Everything about to drop off. My bad. I know I turned off my
What's going on?
Yeah, he resubbed, so I just wanted to make sure I gave him his proper acknowledgement. It's been 7 months in a row, so I wasn't going to switch over and do the redemption stuff, but
mankind became tired of ads.
Aren't you getting tired?
It's a lot of ads.
With more ads for hookers and drugs.
It's repulsive. But you learned. I can tell because you subscribed.
Oh my God, with no ads.
You're free now.
That's a good idea.
What?
And now everyone can enjoy the comfort because this
Thing you did for both our benefits.
Loyalty such as yours shall not go unrewarded.
and a dime.
Always pay their debts.
yes, Nova, a dime does always pay his debt, so I owe you one. Thank you for the resub, man. Thank you for the resub. But yes, Stephanie, I did turn the Twitch because I'm doing like a dual stream thing. I did turn off my Twitch redemptions only because it gets the YouTube people. It gets a little weird. It gets a little chaotic when we do all the Twitch stuff on the YouTube side. Is discombobulating? They get disoriented. They're like, "What's going on? There's all these emotes." They freak out because they're Gen X. Gen X is toxic. But no, let me quit. Let me quit though. I do want to let you know what's on tap for today, everybody. Thank you all again for being here. So today we will be having a discussion a little bit about the first ism, generationalism, which is understanding the difference between what generations are and what generations do. We will also slide into escapism because we've had some conversations on about some other platforms within the last 24 to 48 hours, and we think people are seeking to escape reality while not actually doing anything to change reality. So we're going to talk a little bit about escapism. Behind that, we'll talk a little bit about, if we have time, transactionalism, depending on how the flow goes. Transactionalism is a pragmatic philosophical approach to how we are known, maintain healthy relationships, and satisfy goals for money and career through ambitious ecologies. And lastly, and I guess I could put those up on screen, but I'll do that when we get to it. The last thing we're going to talk about today is sensationalism, especially in relating to journalism, but the use of exciting or shocking stories or language at the expense of accuracy in order to provide public interest or excitement. So we'll talk about how we kind of blow things out of proportion to get attention a lot of times. So these are the topics that will lead into the conversation today. But have a little recap. That's what's on tap. Okay. A little recap. Bree, you've been trying to tear me a new one for a while for being Gen X. You've been on my case for being Gen X.
I be talking about your friends. Yeah,
Gen X is not so bad. But I will tell y'all, we do have a problem maintaining healthy relationships, it seems, and broadcasting that to the world on the internet. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why that's our thing. That's what we're going to be known for from Kevin Samuels on down. We're going to be the generation that took to the internet to say, we don't know what we're doing. But that's the conversation that we're going to start with today. Why Gen X is so toxic? Why is Gen X so toxic? Why is everything so negative? Why does it seem like we're so bitter? What is going on, Bree? Let's get into it. I'm gonna put the definition down there of what generationalism is. It's a loose definition. It's not scientific, but I'll let y'all see that and look at it and how we're tying it into the conversation.
Okay.
Why is Gen X so toxic, Brie?
I don't know. I think I was talking about this. Well, I think I was talking about this on somebody's platform. It's just like it's hard because when you grow up like kind of with them, a lot of you just saw or like you just kind of observed as them being older than you. Because like I think somebody pointed out, they're not always necessarily our parents, even though like some of them are, depending on how young they had their kids. Like some of us have Gen X parents, some don't. But they were the closest for, growing up. We were looking at them, a lot of us, as far as like what we try to get into when we become old enough and stuff like that. So it's just kind of like growing up alongside them, just kind of noticing certain things, but not really having language for it. Just kind of stuff you like experience in dealing with them, but you just don't know why, or you just don't have language for it. I don't know. Like, but I just know it's toxic. Like, I know I hate it. I just don't.
I know you hate it. You've talked about this for a minute though, Brie. You've been on this for a minute. You like the toxic aunties.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know. I know my cohort. I know the group I come from. I've seen it. I live with them. I am them, I guess, to a degree. There's a lot of, I guess, the boomers. The boomers put us through a lot. We didn't want.
What did the boomers do to y'all? Because like I just don't know. Like I just don't.
Well, first you had the silent generation. Like that's my grandmother. The silent generation. I'll say the men were, I guess, like the provider type, the patriarch.
Right.
The wife was the silent, kind of compliant, very strong type. And you saw the grandmothers. If you ever saw the movie like Soul Food, and
I was thinking of like, was it like in Fences, like Viola Davis' character in Fences?
Probably when they were younger, for sure. Probably when they were younger. That's them when they were in their like 40s, like coming out of their prime.
Okay.
But, like that. But like when you see them as older, like when I experienced like my grandmother and her friends, they were all closer to like Big Mama and Soul Food. You know what I'm saying? They were all elder, had got into religion, very sweet to the grandkids, things like that. So they were very, very sweet. But they dealt with anything that the men had put them through. Yeah. So there is the boomers rejected that. I will not be sticking around while this guy is doing whatever he wants to, and he gets to come back home. You know, so there was a lot of rejection from boomers. So then we got disconnected a lot from our parents. We didn't see healthy models of relationship because they didn't just suck up and deal with the relationship just because. So like a lot of them were longer into their life or at multiple times.
Or got divorced later. Like my mom's a boomer. She got divorced.
Mm-hmm.
She never remarried.
That's when divorce became more prevalent, and that's probably when it started. As far as unwed mothers, like because back in the church, you couldn't walk up in there single with a baby, pregnant. I
think that might be Gen X thing. That might be Gen X bad.
That's when it popped off. But Gen X, the boomers, they were doing
the boomers did it, but they get sent away.
They got sent somewhere, exactly. But I'm saying, but it was more prevalent. They took some risks. Right. You know what I'm saying? They took more risks. So we had a lot of those messy family dynamics, things of that along that nature. But by the time it came to us, we were messy. We didn't have a structure. Everything was up in the air. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we had to figure it out.
Were y'all parents boomers or the ones before them? Most of y'all parents were boomers.
A lot of us had boomer parents.
I
mean, I say to the lower end. A lot of the lower end probably had boomers. Probably Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels, like that age, he might have been like silent generation child. We don't really know, but
right. That makes sense. I mean, that kind of makes a little bit of sense. Or like they would be those people who. So then, what do you think Gen X did? Did they just like guess, like throw it out and just start guessing? But I mean, that's what we all do, though. Like, let's keep it real. So why is Gen X so bad at it?
Everybody else was following a pattern. There's been a pattern of relationships for a very long time. Like you got married young. You got married young. You stayed married no matter what was going on in the family. You stayed married and stuff stayed in the house. That was the model for centuries. Like there was a lot of turnover in relationships and family before then.
Okay.
So it had to get figured out.
Hey,
What up,
Koya.
Koya? How you doing?
Hey, Rico.
What's up, Rico?
I don't know. I'm not letting y'all off the hook though, because I don't
It ain't
really
about letting
like.
us
I
off the
really
hook.
don't like y'all though, because like it's not even Boomer. I mean, Gen X growing up. It's Gen X in their current form. Gen X inside the age of information. Like y'all, it's raggedy. I'm not even talking about why is it so raggedy now? Is it because Gen X is hitting the wall now and they're like salty?
Wow.
Is it
So
time?
first of all, if you start raggedy, you're gonna finish raggedy. Like most of the time. Like as the thing starts, is kind of how it finishes. Most things, you know. Nah.
I like
no,
the boomers.
Rico.
I like the
Oh,
boomers.
you like them?
My mom's a boomer. She's great.
I mean, you can like them, but you got to understand that they messed us up. Not y'all.
I
They
mean,
messed
that's
us up.
y'all. That's y'all struggle. I like my mom. She's great.
So you get to just like them freely because they ain't mess y'all up.
I just feel like with boomers, you know what you're gonna get, and it's not terrible, like guaranteed. Like I feel like with boomers, it's like I'm gonna either get classic grandma or she gonna be just grumpy as fuck. Like you know what you gonna get with boomers. They don't know how to use the internet that good. They believe everything they see. It's kind of cute. I don't know. I think old people are cute. It's kind of cute.
They got into the Q zone. They got into the Q zone. You're right. Sharuk and King, what is up? Thank you for the resubscription. Just saw that. Been subscribed 2 months. Good looking out for the subs.
Rico.
Sharuk.
Yeah. Hey,
oh, hell no. I'm blaming boomers, Rico. I'm blaming boomers. Listen, if y'all didn't give us the example, Rico, me and you used to talk on the show all the time. You and the son model. Like, we didn't get all the lessons, and they didn't get interpreted the right way. I'm sure you could admit a lot of boomer instruction did not come across because of the way the work was set up, the way the families were set up. A lot of transmission of information did not come through. So we didn't know what to do. A lot of us started growing up on television because the parents weren't around, latchkey kids. Like, so how are we supposed to figure it out on our own without instruction because our parents were working so hard? What are we supposed to do? So then all of a sudden,
let's not attack the hurt child inside the Gen X. Okay, so let's drag y'all now in 2022 when y'all Gen X somehow got a hold of all the Best Buy mics and decided to bring y'all ass on YouTube and start projecting all y'all stuff on everybody below y'all because y'all think we wasn't gonna clap back. I am here to say on behalf of the millennial delegation, y'all gonna keep y'all stuff. Go ahead and run that back. Everything you saying to me, bounce off me, go back to you. You know, I'm gonna need y'all to, or Best Buy gonna have to start not selling mics to people over 40.
Man, that's trash. That's a whole trash opinion right there. But I want to shout out Rico. I mean JP, the aspiring matriarch. Thank you, JP, for coming through. Appreciate you. Peace to you, Rico. Yes, there is blame. Now we're going to definitely do a thing about accountability because accountability falls everywhere. I'm not even trying to put accountability onto the boomers. What I want to do is acknowledge the faults of the boomers. Like, let's acknowledge how the past played a role in the present so that we can then move on emotionally and then actually start addressing the problems of the present. Because you're right. We are not, our parents are no longer responsible for us. We're all grown.
Yeah.
And why we all went to Best Buy and bought that mic?
Yeah. Why? I'm writing a letter at this point. Hey, Nishogun. Hey, JP. They need to put a sign on the door or something. I'm so sick of Gen X hot takes.
What's good? The Shogun of Harlem. We can accept some of the blame. Good, man. I appreciate that. That's all we needed. But I think we needed to be heard. I honestly think that's the thing. I think we just needed to be heard because the boomers don't listen. Y'all don't listen. Rico, y'all don't listen to nothing. Y'all don't listen. I know y'all, Rico. I say this with love and fondness. You know you don't listen to the sons. You know you don't listen to the kids. Y'all do not listen. So we went through our lives not being heard. So when we heard there was an internet, and you could just hit a button and people would listen,
That's so nice. I mean, that's sad. That's sad first. I just want to say that's sad, but that's nice. But I'm gonna need y'all to also understand that, like, you don't get to just say whatever you want, and people don't get to tell you sound ridiculous too. So, like, that's also a thing. Is Nishogun just questioning the generations? So did we read it out loud? Understanding the difference between what generations are and what generations do.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're talking about. Like what they are. Not the internet.
The internets are not all, I mean, the Gen Xers are not all in their fields, but the ones that are in their fields are deeply into them. Like,
but then they got that boomer trait from y'all toxic boomer.
Exactly.
That, like, nobody can tell y'all nothing though.
Nobody can tell us
her Gen X person is like kitty pouring the drink. You know, the GIF. When I see a Gen X and they are clearly bleeding out on a panel or online, I'd be like, let me pull my drink. Lord have mercy. Oh Jesus. Okay, let's hear it. You know, that's how I feel when I see if somebody 40 and up starts coming on the panel. Just we gonna tell you somebody insert whatever group about themselves. It's gonna be a long one. We already know what's been happening.
I think we need a little bit of compassion is all I'm saying. Because Rico, we emote because y'all wouldn't care about our feelings. Y'all told us to suck it up. Life ain't fair. Get over it. Nobody owes you anything. And then we got all of a sudden, right after us, when the next crop of kids came up, Rico, this is what y'all did. Oh, babies, the grandbabies. Oh, come here. I got you. Grandmama, grandpapa, we got you. Oh, come on. You ain't got to worry about that. And y'all was all sweet. Y'all was all tender.
That's what people do when they learn. That's like when people get old, they just be like, you know what? I was doing the most.
Fighting to find your feels. Okay. That's a different dynamic too.
Yeah.
Yep. Got the testosterone off the check. Yeah, you see, JP. They were tripping.
90s, what he say? 90 kids, we're the cusp generation of the internet first emerging and became. Yeah, millennials are interesting because some of us remember, I mean, like, depending on how far down or up you are on it, it's like most of us didn't have, well, like, I don't know what age and up, but like we remember a time before it was everywhere, like before smartphones and like when the internet first came out and like AOL and all the dial-up. We remember kind of all that. So yeah, I think we grew up oversharing because we was in the chats. Yeah. We was in the chats. I remember being in Yahoo chat like at like 12, 13. Like I had a whole social life at school and in chats. Like that was part of my childhood. What he say? Are we not over therapizing every damn thing on quiet land on the couch? Have y'all heard the word? They don't know how. No, I'm gonna speak for Gen X. They don't know how to cope. That's the problem. I'm just saying they don't know how to cope. So let's not even say to learn how to cope. They don't know how.
I don't like where this is going. I'm starting to feel
I was speaking for y'all. I was taking up for y'all. Y'all don't know how to cope.
It doesn't feel like taking up for us. I feel like taking up arms against us. That's what it feels like. But real quick, I just want to acknowledge a high fly guy Kai with the resubscription. He says, "Sup, freaks and geeks. What is up, high fly? Appreciate you for coming through, man. Definitely." And Rico, I just want to address this real quick. First of all, we're not therapizing. We're just talking. We're sharing. So we're not getting therapy. Like I'm not bragging when I say that. We're not. Hey. Wait a minute.
Woo!
All of us, stop it, Bree. Stop it.
I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing.
So first of all, we're not actually getting true therapy. We don't trust therapy, a lot of us, because we got a lot of that mess, that secret squirrel stuff from y'all. Got to keep everything hidden inside. Everything, you're right, does not require laying on the couch, but we don't even, like you said, we don't even do that. And have we heard of the word coping? We've heard of it, but you know what that sounds like?
We got to get into escapism because that's coping, and I think
that's exactly it.
Yeah, that's kind of bad.
Let me see. Cope can mean internalizing and letting it build up. That's what some people do. What they call that? Suppressing, and letting it build up until you explode. Okay, so I'm gonna walk in. Harris Tribe Media Group, peace, family. Appreciate you, Mr. He Said, Mrs. She Said. Make sure you go and check out both of their channels and the Harris Tribe Media Group, the conglomerate, the family. Make sure you check out all of their channels. They will be here. As far as Rico will be here tomorrow. Mr. He Said, Mrs. She Said will both be here tomorrow, and possibly a Wild Bree sighting, but we never know. She be out here in these streams. You never know. But we'll be having a conversation tomorrow. But you said you wanted to touch on escapism. We might as well go on over there.
Okay, so you just trying to avoid anything else about Gen X?
I mean,
of course, it was some of these radical ideas that y'all saying, like, you know.
We know we're attention seeking. We know we like the attention, and we can't give up the attention to y'all because we didn't settle into familial roles the same way our parents did. So we don't have the attention like suck of children and family. So where do we get our attention feel? Well, it's you guys. Hey, so then we're here, and then we're pouring out, and like you said, we're bleeding out.
Or Thanksgiving, or any family function, or anything.
Don't be a hater. Like don't be that much.
I really don't.
You just don't rock with
the Gen X men for me are really a non-factor though.
Okay.
Because like I didn't see any Gen X men, like my memories of any man who I know that's Gen X, any uncles, like men, they were like ghosts. Like it was either they were at work all the time. Yes, I'm back. They're either at work all the time, gone in a basement somewhere. I don't know what them ninjas was. I just didn't see them. So I don't really have a working good memory of Gen X men growing up, which is also problematic. But the women were absolutely horrible and still are horrible. Like I feel like the Gen X, most of my smoke, if I had a percentage, like do a percentage, it's like 80% for the Gen X women and like 20% for the men, because I just don't know enough about Gen X men to even have an opinion about them, which is problematic. And now that I'm getting older and I am seeing them, they're very like shell of men.
What do you mean, Brie?
They're like zombies. The ones who are married, like, I don't know if they're happily married. They just there though.
We're just there. Is that what you said? They're just there?
Yeah, they just there.
Oh my God. They're just living.
They just
existing.
Be floating. They just be looking tired. Like tired. Just tired. Like
I can tell you, man. I really honestly think there was something that happened, and I can't say this is not a diagnosis. This is just me just working through thoughts.
Right.
The women of Gen X learned to be very independent, like very strong-willed, because they didn't want to be like the predecessors.
Right.
Like I refuse to go down like they went down. So I'm going to forge my own path. Well, that level of agency had to come at the expense of something. Like something's going to give in a power struggle, because it wasn't a collaboration. It's a power struggle in a lot of these relationships. So the men cave, and then you get like you said, the shells.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. Like I feel bad for them. I mean, which is also puts a pressure on us to be like, well, we're not trying to be like y'all. Which is kind of like, that's also my thing. Because my other thing, this goes out there. Where did all these Gen X niggas come from? I'm sorry. Where they come from? Y'all was quiet all this. I've never seen you. Like, I feel like somebody is just like on the side with a Gen X man with hot takes machine, just cranking these niggas out. Like, where did y'all come from? Because y'all was quiet all, like, I ain't even seen y'all. Like, I don't even have a solid memory of a Gen X man being interactive with anything besides a grill.
You just explained it though, Brie. We were in the
y'all was in the basement
submitting position of we were under the woman's oppression. We were quiet. Then somebody said, hey, why don't you take the garage or the basement and just set up a little mic? We went to Best Buy, got the mic, got the ring lights, and everything that we can't say. Like Naila said, everything that we couldn't say to our mamas, everything that we couldn't say to the woman, everything that was built up in that little shell, we got to put it right here. And we gave
while
it to you.
still in the playpen that was given to you by your wife overlord.
I mean, you know.
So I'm just saying, okay.
Yeah, that's the birth of the Alpha Male Podcast. All right, honey, I'll be up in 2 hours. Give me 2 hours, babe. All right, I'll get the trash. I promise. I'm gonna get the trash. Wait a minute. All y'all women out here, and that's how it starts, man. That's how it starts. Hey, but real quick, I want to read Rico's comment. Do you think it starts at childhood? Yes. My premise is that the percentage of kids that are diagnosed with a trauma or something nowadays is astronomical. Now, I'm going to tell you, Rico, you're right. I just think y'all didn't care enough to diagnose. It's not that y'all had less trauma. Y'all just didn't care. Like, y'all just made them get up, walk it off, get up, walk it off. Like, and they had to deal
more
with
solid systems to still be able to even possibly get some sort of outcome, even if they just power through. Like you said, they had a model, like whether it was good or bad, like you said, they had a model. Do this, do this, do this, do this. So even if you were like subpar and mediocre, if you followed the model, you'll at least get some kind of outcome.
Yeah. And now it's like, man, you could do everything everybody tells you and to blow up in your face, which is, again, more red pill stuff. Like, you do everything, every step y'all said about relationships, I do all of it. And it blows up in my face. And then you get red pill. So it's telling most of kids that they have some type of mental emotional affliction, they part of the problem. Oh, that's a good question, Rico.
You mean like now? Like now?
Yeah. Because I do think there is something to that. Because
most parents are trash.
Most parents are trash.
Like, I wish we would just get to that conclusion. Like, just accept that there's a 90% chance that you're doing something wrong and it's directly impacting your child security, their attachment style, how they cope, how they manage their emotions. Like, it's you. Like, we're the problem. Like, the parents are the problem. So, like, I don't even think putting all that burden on kids of like, this is what's wrong with you. This is like, yeah, that's great. But like, yeah, it's really parents are just jacked up and like really haven't accepted. We're still kind of old school in that way of people still are like, there's one way to parent, but nobody knows what that way is. I don't know. Parents are fucking their kids up.
Nah, I do think there are a lot more problems now, Rico. I do think there's two reasons for that. One, I think even on the poorer levels of society, we have more free time to be on phones and social media and television. So like, even though people are trying to work more, like, I guess there's more access to things that are outside of like your immediate zone of influence, the people around you, your neighborhood. So now people are reaching out and all these broad swaths of ideas are coming to them. The chains, the message boards, of this, of that, they're getting all these thoughts pumped into them. So I think we are messing people up. I think Bree said, you just said you were on stuff like 12. And like a lot of times there's a lot of ideas that people are not ready for at 12 that are hitting their eyeballs, that are hitting their brains. So I think people are getting more messed up. The way we're using it is a problem. I think we're turning problems into like almost like super suits. Like we're turning I have this. You can't criticize me because of this. Yes.
The trauma, the weaponizing trauma, which I hate that. Everybody's got a trauma and you can't say anything to them because of their trauma.
And excuses all of their behavior. Like, stuff gets on.
Oh yeah.
You can't. I'm this. I'm neurodivergent, so you'll have to excuse the way I say whatever I want to. I'll never have to. Like, no, because I've seen you in other settings and you're just fine, and you navigate and you filter. But then over here, it's like, oh, you don't care enough, and then it's your neurodivergence that excuses that. Yeah, that's a problem.
And women are good for that shit too.
Oh boy.
It don't even be like mental health stuff. Like women just be like, I had a bad breakup and it traumatized me. So like, I'm just gonna tell everybody about my trauma. And it's like, it's almost to the point now where people say trauma and you like, okay, are we talking like
hurt feelings?
Trauma? Like, are we talking about like it was just a bad situation and it just like really fucked with you, which is valid. It's valid. But like, then there are people who like really had some like violent stuff happen to them and like they have trauma. So it's like, even at this point now, it's just like talking to people is harder because everybody has trauma or realizing
everybody has trauma from a narcissist.
From a narcissist, right?
Yes.
No, I think a lot of kids are jacked up though, Rico. Like that's the thing. Yeah. Like I think a lot of kids are messed up. Like I think how is that still hard? Maybe that's because boomers. Well, I guess because boomers are like, look at me, I work a job, I have a family, I'm fine, and you're like, well, that's not a good standard of, how fine you are. So I could
That's
see
true.
a boomer maybe being like, "Ain't nothing wrong with these kids," but it's like, no, there be something wrong with these kids.
Now I'm gonna tell you, Rico, I also think there is something to that psychologically. Like when you set up somebody's mind, almost like I'm gonna equate this to like the race thing, like the victim mentality. Like if you set up somebody to automatically think they're inferior or like they have some kind of like disability or differently abled, or there's some word that will make them know that they're not like everybody else and they can't be like everybody else. For some people, that can be a setback because they'll adopt that mentality. Not everybody will do that. Not everybody. Some people are more resilient emotionally, but some will take that as like, well, I guess I'll never be that. So it's like there's a term called the Pygmalion effect. Like you raise to the level of the expectations put upon you. And in sports, they would call it a gamer. You know what I'm saying? So somebody that will show up in the moment when the stage is the lights on the stage are the brightest. Some
Which is
people
why
are
I hate
good at that.
CRT. So
Yeah, I got a little thing with that too.
not in school. Like I don't have issue with it as a school of thought, but like teaching it to like concrete thinkers, no, I'm good on that.
Oh yeah, you're right, Rico. There's a lot of that. Oh, there's a lot of that.
I mean, it's actually like as a parent.
No way.
Like as a parent who like has time, I guess. Like a lot of this stuff, if you catch it early, like you can help them. But it's just like so many of our parents that was not a thing. Like we couldn't even talk in the same room with adults, like a lot of us. So it's like, y'all wouldn't notice anything wrong with us if there was. So I think people will be shocked about like what their kids struggle with at an early age. Like it doesn't just show up once they're 15. Like they probably were struggling with it already since they were like 10 or 11.
Mm-hmm.
And you just never noticed it.
Yeah. Like I know we were on Yella's channel the other day and he was talking about how Tia Mowry was talking about projecting on the kids. Like, oh, they're thriving in the midst of the divorce. And it was like, how many kids thrive during a divorce?
Thrive? None. Like none. Like even this idea that kids can't have complex emotion of like, I'm glad if y'all are like really bumping heads, like I'm glad that y'all not gonna be in the same house fighting, but at the same time, like it's terrible. Like kids can actually see more than one point of view. So like they're probably, and then like the thing that kills me sometimes about women is they'll go and like ask their kid directly, like and it'd be like leading questions.
Exactly, Bree. Don't
be
get
like,
me started.
You feel, me and Dad, we're going through a lot, and we were fighting all the time. Yeah, you remember that? Yeah, and so we're deciding to get divorced, and even though it's hard, like. That we think it's for the best. Do you think it's for the best? And like all of the things are leading up to them clearly telling you that
but you're
they
fine,
should
right?
say yes. Yeah, they should say
right?
yes. Like what kid is gonna be like no?
Right. Looking at their mom, the person they look up to, all the emotions, all that connection, all the stuff it's hard to criticize moms, but boy, they be saying
moms be trash though. So whatever.
Oh, that's cool, Nisha. They still cool. Wasn't thriving. Yeah, really, exactly. There is an adjustment, and it's difficult depending on the age. And I think people need to acknowledge that. And I think it's hard and I'm gonna use this word. It's hard for us people that are selfish, or narcissistic, depending on the level. It's hard for us selfish people to step out of ourselves and acknowledge what the kids might be going through. But I think people stay in that selfish zone a little bit too much. I think we indulge our selfishness a lot more these days.
Well, it's self-love, Rashawn.
Not the self-love.
It's a self-love journey. So it's not about y'all. Okay.
I'm chasing joy.
I'm only chasing joy. I don't even.
Not chasing duty.
Just joy. Yeah, but I agree also with Queen about the narcissist thing and the gaslighting thing for sure. Buzzwords, like professional words have come into the space. Somebody said, who said that? Was it Odie or somebody said that? Like professional jargon has come into the space.
Probably.
And now
It was.
Throwing it at everything. Just throwing it at everything. So.
Yeah. But as has been said, because so much is overused, we're in the little boy who cried wolf. Oh my God, yes. It makes me hard to take a cry for help seriously. Sometimes I have a problem with that. That's true, Rico. And like that's that whole like trauma versus hurt thing. Being trauma, assault, violence, everything. All these words are being thrown. Narcissism, all these clinical terms too.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard so many terms being thrown at people. It is hard to take. It is hard to take anything serious.
But yeah.
But I do want to ask you this last question on the generationalism. Do you think it's practical? We people we found our voice. We're out here. We're talking about the way we see the world, our experiences. Do you think it's healthy for us Gen Xers, considering our disposition and the way we operate, to be sharing our views the way we do? I know we have the right to, but do you think we should?
Yes, yeah. Y'all have a right. Y'all have a right.
But should we?
What was the second part?
We know we have a right. But should we? Like, we know we have the right. We know we have the right.
Should
we have
you
mics.
share your emotions? Yes. Should you word vomit on a public platform and then get butt hurt when you realize you're not intelligent like you thought you were when you started saying what you wanted to say? No. See, that's the problem for me.
Come on, Rico. Come on, Rico. We're not that bad. I mean, you making it seem like we're just out here.
Word vomit ain't 100. Y'all, I mean, y'all just, and then be mad at people. Like, I'm not married to none of y'all. My mom's a boomer. So for all I care, go off, sis.
Okay. All right.
Call the whole generation sis. Yes, that's disrespectful.
Oh, that's some
Yeah,
slander
it's disrespectful. It's okay. I know what respect is. And if I say something disrespectful, I meant to.
That's mean.
It's mean. Yeah, that's fine.
See
how that works? See how that works?
I'm gonna have to worry about it. Now I'm gonna have to worry about it.
It's okay, but you see how that works, though. I don't have to pretend that it wasn't mean. I'm not gonna gaslight you and say that wasn't mean. That's just how I feel. That's not me. Like, no, it's me. That's my.
All right. Well, listen. Let me ask you this next question. We're gonna slide over into escapism. Now, escapism is the tendency to seek distraction and relief, like copium, from unpleasant realities, especially by seeking entertainment or engaging in fantasy. And what I believe, Bree. What I believe is that so many people are seeking distraction and relief right now, near unpleasant realities, and some of them honestly think they're going in another reality, but it's another delusion.
Ooh.
We're replacing one delusion for another, right?
Yeah.
Why? Not try but dry. That's an old one. Why do people, especially, I'm gonna say especially Black people in this, why are we so quick to like kind of tap out and seek delusion? Why are we sick? Like I know the term quiet quit. I've used that before.
Right.
Check out. Like we'll mentally leave a situation and we'll seek out a delusion, whatever one it is. It might be religion. It might be a race fantasy. We're gonna
win
a
war.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. All kinds of
Okay.
stuff. Why are we so quick to escape our reality for a fictitious one that can't be manifest?
Can we accept the fact that if you're escaping your reality, that you have to accept that your reality might be trash? And that maybe you're trash? No, but I think that second part is the issue. Because it's like, especially people who lean heavily into collectivism, I always give you niggas the side eye. Always. Because I feel like it's always some at the end of the day. I feel like it's at the end of the day, your reality is mid. Something is broken somewhere. You're not getting the result you think you're supposed to have. So you want to revert back to collectivism to take away self-responsibility that you, in fact, could be mid. And the reason I feel this is because when someone comes along and say, well, that's not my reality. I'm chilling. You're like, no, I'm trying not to say it. Because my favorite. Black people are suffering.
Hey, that was hilarious, yo.
I'll never forget that shit. But I'm just saying, like, if somebody could accept that they're not happy with themselves first, I don't think that escapism would be as necessary. But I think it's hard to accept that maybe, and once again, it could be that the Gen X is hitting 40, and that's kind of like an age where you like really getting a good like assessment of everything you've done up until now. And you're like at that next phase where you're gonna start getting older, and like them knees don't be the same, and health issues. And I think it's a very pivotal time, like, and it could be very like anxiety inducing and like scary turn, midlife crisis or whatever. So maybe that's why, like, I know for women 40 seems to be a special time.
It is, but I really think it's like I think it's that whole I know I'm sliding back into the last one. Right. I think the Gen X, the rejection of the outcomes of what the Gen X have done, because everybody hears us talking and they hear our lives, and everybody's like, "Oh, F that! There's no way I'm going to live like they are." So we're just going to shoot off into whatever. I honestly think a lot of it is there, because what I'm hearing, some people's like the soft life. That's another delusion. Like a lot of the things that people are talking about is like the whole hypergamy thing.
Right.
It's a fantasy. It's a delusion. It's not for most people. All the guys that are going to be bosses and CEOs, it's a delusion. Most people aren't going to lead the charge and start Fortune 500 companies. Everybody's not going to be a top dog. We have a lot of delusion. Everybody's not an alpha male. Everybody's not a leader. Everybody's not going to get married. Everybody's not this, whole host of things. Right. But we sink into these delusions. We sink into them because it gives us some comfort.
It's comfort because it's like you can be whoever you want in your own mind.
Yeah.
It isn't. Yeah. You can be whoever, like distraction and, avoidance and stuff like that is taught to us very early as well, which, like, because even like when, my kids were young, like I was seeing that people said, don't distract your kids. Like when they have an emotion, let them feel it and let them act it out. Don't be like, oh, you're crying, I'll give you a cookie. Like that kind of thing. Even stuff like that is teaching people to like, instead of dealing with the emotion or the negative feeling, like do something else. So, I mean, we kind of like, as far as like Kai saying it's an American problem, like a lot of us have been raised to like, if something is negative and doesn't feel good, then you just like distract and divert. So I think that's like, we were really taught to do that.
Yeah, I think we're getting too far into it. And I even think like what you said about going to Best Buy and getting a mic. I think that's more escapism. Like, I mean, I think all of these things are eventually, I think all of them on some level are tied together. Like, you know what? Yeah. I can't live the life I want in real life. Let me get online and live my best life. You know what I'm saying? Like, but whether it's IG and flexing for pictures, or it's like I'm a podcaster and I'm telling everybody I'm the man and you want to get like me. Like, I think that we're escaping into a reality to even comfort ourselves, not even like to flex for everybody else, but even to pump ourselves up to feel better of like some of those failures that we.
But someone having like an ideal or a dream that pushes them to do something different is good.
It can
be good. Like if somebody was like, I mean, like streaming and stuff became the MLM of the pandemic. So yeah, of course, like there's gonna be people who like, but like if you see something that you want to model yourself and it makes you do something to change, I think that's good.
But then that's not escapism. That's like idealism or a vision. You know what I'm saying? That's something different. Escapism.
So what's like? Give me an example of like an escapism school of thought that you run across a lot.
Well, right now,
Go ahead. I know you tried, but you gonna have to.
Just now, like only because it's fresh. Right now, but only because it's fresh. It was me listening to the guy on Hanifa's channel talking about like we're at war, like the war dynamic. Like just simply because of numbers, even if it's not that, even a political dynamic, Black people voting themselves out of a situation from the minority position, like extreme low numbers, like at max 15% of the population. Like the political way is not it. The way of the warfare is not it. Like we need to be able to think about like just pure mathematical numbers. If I have 5 people and they have 50, I'm not going to outvote them. I'm not going to outfight them. Like, so I need to outsmart somebody at some point. You know what I'm saying? Okay. It's like Yes, we escape into ideas of fantasy that cannot be realized materially. We just don't have the material or the people, the numbers. So whether, even if it's religion, like there's always a lot of escapism, because I can live however right now, and then the sweet by and by, I'll have my slice of heaven. Like there's always something to never have to address what's going on right now. Like right now, today, how can I improve the situation? As opposed to all this other fictitious stuff. Now, if I say I'm about the business of black, and I'm going to build a school for black people here today.
Shout out to
so
Umar.
that they get a quality education. And even if it's not the best structure, even if it's not the best technology, but I'm doing everything I can to get them the best instruction and have them in an environment where they're loved and have compassion and are not being shoehorned into the prison pipeline.
Right.
Then I'm with you. But if it's always just talking about what we could do, what could happen,
and then it'd be some wild shit that like skips a lot of steps. That's like, okay, how we gonna get here? He said you can't be a dude who works and that's okay. He's always pressured you more. Yeah, the society, and I mean, but you know, at the same time, average is gonna change based on cost of living and everything. So I mean, average Joe has to not be average. Like you can't be 1950 average. We're not gonna do it. I'm just saying, like average has to move with the scale. You know what I mean?
The window of average has moved.
Yeah.
I get you. Like
it changes with the times.
I see. That's what I want. Okay, let me ask you this question then, because we have here's where we have a divergent. We have a divergent track, I believe,
right? And
this is because of society. So this is where we have to shift our thinking. So you have like the cost of living average, which has escalated. But then you have the income average, which has stagnated. So then which one are we supposed to model ourselves off of? Because the average Joe is still the average Joe economically. But
what does average Joe mean?
Like 45K. He makes 45K. That's the median. That's the median income, Bree. Don't squint your eyes at the median income.
No, I'm not squinching my eyes at 45K. I'm like, no one's talking. Like, okay, that's fine. Why you can't be that? Why you can't be that?
Okay.
No, I'm saying he said you can't be an average Joe. Why you can't be an average Joe?
Oh, yes. Yes, Rika. Appreciate you, Kai. You gonna ignore? Okay. Mobility has been achieved plenty of times via innovative ideas.
Thank you.
What up, man? Drip.
Hey, man, Drip.
Clue.
Yeah, I don't know this whole you can't be. No, you can't be. You can be whatever you want to be. Right? Is there something? So what's up?
I think there is a difference between, like I said, what the expectation is or what's acceptable. Like you said about the average, you can't be average anymore. Like, no, but we can, because average is average for a reason. That's where most people fall.
Yeah.
So most people have to be average. Most people have to be average because that's what the term comes from. That's the bulk of humanity is average. Even the people that say you can't be average are typically average.
Oh no, I just want to know, like, what is average Joe? Because that's energy. The Joe adds a context to it. That's you're not talking about meeting. No, y'all word magic, and I'm not gonna let y'all because Joe means it's what, the blue collar worker. I mean, what makes him average Joe and not average whatever, insert whatever fucking name you want? If we were just really talking about a random person,
that's average mark. I mean, I don't know what Joe means for you. Average mark.
I don't know what Joe mean for y'all. Y'all the one who be saying it. What it means?
It's just Joe Public. It's like that's a common term. Joe Public, John Doe. Like there's terminology for just basic. We don't know who they are. Non-descriptive people. Joe, John, Jane. Yeah.
Okay.
So it sound like you're at. It's the boomers who are the toxic ones. Okay, that's right, Rico. It's the boomers who are toxic.
Of course.
Average only gets put down if your aspiration is more. But many people thrive emotionally in an average space. Average is actually safer.
Okay, see? There we go. Nothing's wrong with being an average Joe. Who's demonizing y'all for being average Joe? Y'all lady friends?
Intellectual soapbox in the building. Now, Bree, I know you ain't about to sit here and act like people do not shame average.
No, I don't shame average. I shame 22K Joe. He's not average. He's below average.
Okay.
And he's below the poverty line too.
Terms. Average and median are different. That is true.
Mm-hmm. He's below average. Let's be clear.
He's below. So below average Joe.
Right.
What's wrong with below average Joe? What's wrong with him? What's wrong with his?
Nothing's wrong with him.
What's wrong with his humanity? Is he still a human? Is he still a person?
He's a human. Yeah, he good.
If you prick him, does he not bleed?
I'm not gonna kill him. I'm not gonna run him over and be like, "Oh, just a 22K guy under my tire." Like, no, he's a human. He deserves respect.
Okay. Hey, that's all I ever wanted, man.
I'm just saying he deserves respect on a human level, but that's kind of like, okay, I'm gonna save my yes, on a human level, he deserves respect. But that's it, though. But that's it.
He deserves respect, but that's it.
You getting baseline. You getting baseline package.
So are you
getting floor model? Getting floor model respect.
So we about to slip into transactionalism. Do you have anything else? We about to slip into transactionalism. Yeah, we are. We about to slip right into transactionalism. He don't get basic respect unless he has more money. That sounds like the transaction.
No, he gets basic. You get human respect. That is good. That is all you can expect in this life. That is all you deserve in this life. You deserve respect as a human being, as a sentient being. I'm a Christian, so made in the image of God. I respect you because of that. But all that other respect, now we gotta talk about that. I don't know. There are different.
What's all that other respect? What does that mean?
There are different levels. Okay, so you have this respect of authority, depending on like maybe a title. Like there's respect that comes with certain authorities or titles, and then there's respect to somebody who is a leader. There's respect to somebody who has, who is over you in some way, right? So there's other kind of respects that people can earn and get based on their roles and how they interact with you and their environment. But everybody gets human respect. You don't have to do anything for that.
Okay. All right. What's up, Intellectual Soapbox? I don't know if I said it, but 2 chopsticks. Good looking out. Thank you for being here. Not your average guy. Hello, what's good? Good people. Appreciate you for being in the building. Even though he's not your average guy, he's still a good guy. And he deserves it.
See, he's not average. You see what I'm saying?
Average is interchangeable with regular. What's regular today is dysfunction masquerading as normal. Now, that's true, JP. I will give you that.
That's
I will
a good
give
one.
you that. Some of the most valuable people in the world make average or less. Teachers, spiritual leaders, community leaders. Okay.
Nothing's wrong with me average. I just said that because I that's the school of thought I follow. So for me, that is why I think everybody gets that. You don't have to do anything for that.
Basic human respect, and you don't get any additional respect unless you have some level of attainment in another realm. Professional, like you said, a title. That's practical. Like you said, he has a title, so he gets respected based on like authority. Like he's a professor or something like that. Or it's not a purchased respect. That's not what I'm hearing. Like he gets more respect if he makes 60K. That's not what I'm hearing.
No,
I didn't hear that.
mean, there are things you can do that just earns you a certain respect, like kind of more of like a baseline. Like you go to court, it's a judge. Like I'm a respect. I have to show a certain level.
Absolutely,
yeah,
it's authority. Okay, so you're not talking about like you get respect based on the dollar figure, like the more money, the more. Okay, I got you. Now I'm with you. I got you.
Yeah.
All right, so we didn't have to sleep in the transaction. It was just sound.
We can go. Let's go into transactionalism. What is this? Can you read that for me? I don't have my glasses.
The pragmatic philosophical approach to how we are known, maintain health and relationships, and satisfy goals for money and career through ambitious ecologies. Our hypergamous nature as people, like we're always trying to, yeah, exactly.
I think it's a good
mute
one.
my phone. My bad, y'all. Hold up.
Intellectual Soapbox asked why, because he's trying to mute his phone, and I know he like. So is it okay to value or respect a woman based on looks, depending on your school of thought? Like, you might. Yeah. That's for each person. Like, I'm just saying. Like, I think everybody gets human. What other things get respect from people for you is gonna be different. Like, some people don't care about looks. That's not gonna get you respect. So, like, if that's how you feel, then that's fine. That doesn't mean everybody else has that same. Like, I think it's only problematic when you think because you look good, everybody should respect you. But it's like, some people might not care about that. So,
yeah, that's facts. Rico says value, yes. Respect, No, you don't respect based on looks. But I know that's not how we operate. We're very superficial as society.
No.
We lean a lot into symbolism. Money, what you drive, how you look, a lot of stuff. You get treated a lot. We're very superficial in this country. Even looking for potential is
Don't
transactional.
nobody want to look at ugly shit all day. Y'all better get out of here.
Oh, come on. It's a person. It's not ugly shit. It's a person, bro. You just said ugly
I'm sorry,
shit.
ugly people. Ugly people.
See?
I'm just saying, like, it's okay to not be fine. Like, I'm normal, you're normal, we're all normal. That's fine. But if I turn my TV on and I'm looking at Interview with the Vampire, I'm gonna need some beautiful ass vampires. I don't want to see no regular ass vampire. That's not why I turned the TV on for. I want to see hyperrealism. I want to see hyperrealism. I don't like reality TV. I don't watch TV to look at regular people. I want to see some hyperrealist shit. But I'm a Libra and I like everything beautiful. So I'm just saying.
You extra. You're
I'm
extra.
extra. There's nothing about me that's not extra.
Leading me right into the last one. We still gotta you're taking us like naturally right through these isms, man. It's so beautiful how this played out. I didn't even have them connected. I'm like, these are the most random, disjointed, disconnected isms ever. But you just go right.
I am not capping. I don't watch reality TV. I hate it.
I believe it. You need it to
Besides
be
Love is Blind. And that's what I hated about this season. Everybody looks so normal. And I was like, why am I watching it?
Do we only see the ugly and the physical? What about the ugly and the mental, emotional? That's worse. Yeah, that goes.
That's
Yeah,
terrible
it's a
too.
problem.
Don't nobody want to be around terrible, toxic ass people either. Yeah, that's my shit though. Yeah, let's go transactionalism. So can you start the? Can you know?
Well, I mean, you kind of touched on it. Does everybody have a price? And I think everybody knows. Everybody has a price.
Right.
I mean, depending on what we're talking about, some people wouldn't sell out on certain principles, but I don't see people as being generally principled now. No matter what the principle is, I think religious people can be bought out, political people can be bought out, racial group people can be bought out. I mean, even in the 60s, the whole civil rights movement, people were getting jobs and got taken out of the movement just by giving them access to the economy. You know, so I think everybody has a price. What we're willing to sell a piece of ourselves for. I think it's slightly problematic that so few people worry about character, integrity. Like they don't have a value standard that they'll hold in spite of the dollar. Like everybody will pay for some dollar figure. Oh, it bothers me, even to the point of relationship and like marriage. Like that people are putting dollar figures on people now. I mean, not that they haven't ever. It's always been a thing. But I'm saying the way we do it now is not practical and trying to benefit the family and advance a family. Like it used to have a utility.
Can you expound on that? Tell me more.
So, like, as far as the value of a person, if you're marrying a family, there might be like something like the dowry or the bride price.
Right.
So there was a dollar figure attached to a relationship. Like a literal, it might even been like goats, but it benefited a family. Like an entire pot of people would exchange value based upon that marriage. Well, now people are not looking for the value to benefit the family. A lot of times it's a very selfish benefit. I want to get the value for my own purposes, and they may not even pour it into the children. Or it may not go into the surrounding family, the connected family, the blended or whatever family. It may not help aunts and uncles. It may not do any of that. So I'm saying everybody wants to chase like I'll say some form of luxury, but it's very selfish and they don't extend those amenities or whatever a lot of times to everyone. It's for themselves.
Okay. I'm processing what you said. I'm
about to say you've never said on something I said that well.
It was a little windy. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm not like doing my woman thing and like connecting parts that kind of
probably are.
Turn. But I just made like I'm trying not to do that.
So what did you hear? What did you hear that sounds off? Why don't you tell me what you heard that sounds off, and I'll tell you how you're wrong as a woman. I
might not be wrong. I just didn't process it the right way. But we're not a collective culture. I mean, that was the overarching thought I had. in my mind.
True.
So that would make sense anyway.
No, but I think that's where the problem lies. Like worrying about the value of another person that they can bring into the relationship is a collective principle. So if you're going to switch that and make it individualistic, you need to just get the money yourself. That would actually be the individual application of the value principle. Well, if I need this amount of money, I'll go get it myself because I have access to go get it myself. I'm not limited in that way. We're making.
And you don't think we do that?
Some, but as far as the conversations, because I say it's 50-50, because there's still a lot of people who are still trying to get somebody else to bring the value. They're trying to
hoe tips.
Oh, I mean, not just that.
Okay. I'm just saying, like,
I was actually talking about in male-female relationships is what I was talking about. More specifically, people are still looking for whatever the value is. They're looking for the other person to bring it. Going back to that Odie's office, he talked about accountability. What I'm saying is, even if it's not financial, people are looking to offload some version of responsibility onto the other person. It might be the emotional labor. It might be the man saying, I need you to operate a way so that I still feel like the man. I need you to submit. Or it might be the woman to say, I need to be able to control you. I need to track your movements. I need to have the password to your phone. That way I don't have to worry about trusting you. So it might be emotional capital that they're trying to use the other person for. So I'm saying it's still a problem because it's not to benefit the group. It's to benefit the self.
I think that's why a lot of relationships are very codependent now, like almost by default, and not like the good codependent either. Like I think codependency is normal to some degree and can be helpful. That's why people do it. Like it's natural to some degree, but you're right. Like I think some people are like, somebody might not even have the role or have accepted the role that would bring the sense of responsibility, but it's like almost expected or whatever. So I think that's kind of problematic. But I think if you accept a role, then you do have some sort of responsibility. But then a lot of people are just projecting like what they think the role is and like not having a conversation about what the role means with each other and just assuming a lot of stuff. So I think kind of that's where it breaks down. But I'm actually okay with transactionalism. But I'm also fine with capitalism.
Yeah, you are.
So maybe they're correlated because you seem to not like it.
I'm gonna tell you why, because this goes back to the whole conversation and arguments we've had about 22K Joe.
Right.
The way, and this goes back again to the Gen X, this goes back to all of it. The way we actually apply the principles, the way we actually like the whole like diagnosing children. Diagnosing children is a tool to make an assessment that should shape how you behave and operate. That's not the way we use everything. We're not using metrics to tell us how to move and how to behave. We're using them to like determine the person's humanity. And that's like all of this stuff is we actually start determining the person's worth and value as a human a lot of times on these other things. Go ahead. Say what that thought was.
I don't believe that, because for me, I think that's a projection. Because because what is human? What does valuing a person as a human look like to you? Before I say it's a projection, let me not do that. But what does valuing a person as a human, besides not murdering them willy-nilly, look like?
Right. Yeah. We're not going to do the whole extreme.
No. Yeah. Because I mean, we know that. But that, to me, that's kind of like, I'm gonna respect your intelligence as a human, and like.
That's one right there.
Right.
Like that's one, expecting somebody's intelligence, not assigning negative intent, assuming that the person can and will do what they say, like taking people at the word. There's a whole lot of things that we just don't do. Like just even the basic respect. Like somebody, well, what do you do? Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like we know that there are reflexive responses to certain things, whether you're a man or a woman. This ain't a gender thing. We as men, and even intragender, the aunties, that if you haven't had a child or not married by a certain time, there's something wrong with you. People start to get othered. You start to get belittled, demeaned, picked at. Like there's a thing we do where if you don't have certain statuses at certain times, you don't hit certain check marks and check boxes in certain people's eyes, you are no longer worthy of basic human decency and respect. and definitely not worthy of love.
Okay, human decency. Yeah. I mean, okay. I'll go with it. Because I'm like, what's... I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Because I feel like I just like human decency and respect. Like, I feel like people just... I feel like that's a real thing, but I think it gets very expanded. It's like you probably like big government too, don't you? You probably like that. It's like that whole thing. Like, I feel like it's being expanded. Human decency is being pushed out to cover a lot of things that are actually measures. Like, I don't think sometimes people want to accept that certain things are measures of intangible things. And people are smart enough to know that.
I know what you're saying. I hear what you're trying not to say. But like you're right. But I'm not talking about that. Like that's why I even brought in the kid thing. Metrics are fine. I think I even said that. Metrics are fine. Metrics are supposed to be used so that you can see what steps need to be made to alter the behavior, and depending upon which direction you want to go in. I've gone this far. I plan on going this much farther, so I can adjust my speed or my pace or my direction or my route. As a man, let's even use the money, the 22K Joe. I make 22K Joe, but I'm X age. The market says I should be able to make this age in this profession. I want to make this much more, so I need to maybe shift over to this profession, how much more time it will take me. So the metric should drive the behavior towards your expected or wanted or desired outcome. Metrics are fine. That's not what I'm saying people are doing, because the metrics that they're using, they don't even understand. They'll throw out a label or a number and say, you have to do X. Well, you ask that person, well, what does X mean? Or what can X afford you? I don't know. So there's a problem with that. If you don't even understand the metric that you're asking for, and I'll even abstract it out. Let's take it out of male, female. We were talking about the black, white thing. Right. If you're going to say something's war, well, then how do you quantify it as a war? What does war look like? Right. Doesn't war have two sets of opposing forces? Right. It can't be one oppressing force and one oppressed force. That's not war. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the terms we use have to be a metric of something that we can substantiate. Even if it's intangible, it's something we can substantiate. That's what I'm trying to say. That's all. Okay. What's up, Alonzo Hall? But we use a lot of terms to slap people or even a behavior like narcissism. Right. So we'll use a term that will say I can dismiss this person, or I can slander this person, or I can negate this person from like their child's life. They can't be around the child because you're a narcissist. Well, you can say something like that and never have to substantiate it, because it's something that you can use to take away somebody's humanity. They're now a narcissist. Now everybody can pile on them as a narcissist, and that metric has removed them. See what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't even matter which like yeah. And it doesn't have to be about money. It doesn't have to be about money. It can even be like baby mama. Baby mama's another one. Once you put that metric on them, they've had a child out of wedlock. Now suddenly they're inferior. There's a problem with that line of thinking, because not everybody who has a child everybody's not the same. Everybody that slits into a status, it's not the same. What's up, man?
Were we ever? Hey, Alonzo. I think he came in and said hey. But for like, I don't know. I'm just gonna risk, because nope. I'm not gonna do it.
You're not feeling that one. You ain't gonna get into that.
I'm not feeling it.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Well, let's slide into the sensationalism, because you started bringing up something. I wish I could remember what you said.
What?
But something that brought up sensationalism. I can't remember what you said anymore. But you said you're always extra.
You called me extra. No, you called me extra, and I accepted that title gladly.
You've called yourself extra on many occasions.
Yeah, I'm extra. It's fine.
Extra, that's right. But why do we not you? But
no, you can say you can ask me.
Why you? But everybody though. This is a societal thing. Why do we lean into that? Because even when we take it to the panels, like even the algorithm rewards being extra. I mean, everything in our society is pushing extraness. Like the more elaborate, the more wild, the more crazy, the more vulgar. Like everything slips into some form of extreme, like that hyper realism.
Right.
Everything's like has to be like a caricature. Why does everything have to be like that? Why do our relationships even have to play out the hyper feminine soft girl now that we're playing into, or the hyper masculine alpha? Why does everything have to be extra?
Maybe people are just trying to break out of being, you know, like, you know,
Being
main
normal?
character. Yeah, being normal. I even outside of, I don't think everybody should fight to be not like monetarily normal, because that's just impossible, because there's always going to be a bell curve and there's got to be people in the middle. Like it's okay, right? But like in your own life, like I love main character energy. I love like when people are extra, because why not? Why not? That's my question. What's wrong?
Now every time I click on, hold up, I'm trying to click on these banners, but they're not. One of them's not
They're
going.
not bannering.
Yeah, they're not bannering. One of them's not rotating. No, I didn't put scroll across the bottom. There we go. I was just knocking one up. There we
Okay,
go.
I was like, what's going on? Yeah, I mean, but if I can choose to do it normal or extra, why choose normal? I mean, there are things that you just do normal because it makes sense, it's practical. But if you can be extra, just be extra. Like, I love main character energy. I think people should move through life with main character energy.
If everybody's the main character, who's
You the main character of your own life.
Well,
You're talking about your own life. That's why I said
your own life. Okay.
Your own
Okay.
life. If it like for me, I'm into aesthetics. I'm very into aesthetics. Not as a way of changing your whole inner being, because it's not gonna do that. Sorry to tell y'all, it's not. But I love aesthetics for that reason. Because it's just a way to feel, you know, just be unique and enjoy. Like, I'm me. I'm the only me. I'm gonna, you know, express myself the way that makes me happy. Like visually, I'm gonna express myself. Now, behaviorally, you have to be aware of how you affect people. So, like, especially if you enter into agreements like marriages, relationships. Now, you can't just be main character energy emotionally and behaviorally and just be like, fuck everybody else. I'm gonna do what I want. It paused for a second, yeah.
We'll pause for a
But
second.
yeah, but I think aesthetically, yeah, be extra.
Aesthetically be extra. Okay, but I'm speaking more about the way people are living their lives, or the way they operate. You know what I'm saying? The mode of operation, not just the way they look. I mean, be extra. I mean, that's fine.
Because people are bad. They don't know how to regulate. I think, isn't it right? I mean, like, overconsumption is extra. Wouldn't that be considered extra? Like, over consuming, and where consumerism is huge. So it's like everybody does everything. Go big or go home. Like, this is American ideology as well. So we American. I mean, what we gonna do?
Well, I'm just asking the question because I don't have the answers, Bri. I'm just asking.
Do you want to do less?
Yeah, I do.
You said
because
like
people,
that.
I'm serious. I know we don't think about this too often. Like, there's a guy, Odie's office. He's got a YouTube page, Nigga with a Podcast. He's a clinician of some sort.
Right.
But he was talking about people don't investigate their own thoughts. And because I took a pause. I didn't load the videos in there, so I can't play it. People do not investigate their own thoughts. So we accept thoughts. We accept things that we got from our parents, from religion, from school, from everywhere.
Right.
I think even the culture that's teaching the thing, like all the things that, like we talked about Gen X, all the things that we learned from our parents and fought off and didn't want to do. Everything that we talked about, like transactionalism and how everything that like the commercialism and capitalism is teaching us, even escapism, the things that media pushes us towards, whether it's like the soft girl, the alpha, like all this stuff that's out here now. All of these things are adopted thoughts. We hear people regurgitating things. We hear people that don't understand what the terms that they use mean. So that means it's not even their idea. It's not their idea because they don't understand it, but they're repeating it and they're trying to live to it. Well, then they're trying to live to it without an understanding of what it requires. Like, that reaction with Yella, that video, that guy that was talking about
the sex slave.
Exactly.
I'm just
but
gonna
there are
call
people
him
that talk about even spiritual principles. They'll espouse spiritual principles, but you can tell that they don't know what they mean because the energy doesn't match what would be required to exist in that state that they say that they're in or trying to aspire to. Like there are a lot of people like the chameleon effect, the soft girl aesthetic. I want to live as a soft girl, but I'm still a hard woman. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of people that don't understand what the term will require. There's going to be some labor. There's going to be a sacrifice that's required as far as you doing something differently, you behaving in a different mentality and mode. And people don't do that. We can't be extra if we can't live up to it. Like you said, that we're always buying so much consumer. Right. We're all in debt. We can't afford to be extra. So the way we're living is actually a detriment, not just to us, but we can't even pass on anything to the next generation because we're extra now. There'll be nothing later. We'll be in a deficit later. It's a problem. And not even just financial, it's a principle.
But isn't that a lot of did you say he dropped the link? So if anybody wanted to come up, he didn't say that. He just slid it in there all slick. But isn't it like how some people, I just feel like it's how people cope though. Like it's like some of the like just constant consuming and like putting on different personalities and all the things is like how some people cope. But I don't know. Like, I mean, people not understanding things they believe. I'm trying not to say they stupid because I don't think it's stupid. I think people generally do struggle with like following a principle through to it.
OD did.
Yeah, I think a lot of. I was trying not to say that. I was trying not to say I think a lot of people are stupid. The average American reads at 5th grade level. I mean, you gotta like. Sorry, if that's true, like following a complex thought or idea or concept is gonna be a little bit beyond you. Most people struggle with understanding something comprehensively or understanding the self holistically. I think that's a normal struggle. So until we can bridge that gap, I don't know if that's gonna change, but I don't actually like realistically, I don't think we can bridge that gap.
We're educated. We're just not even educated to the point where we can do better.
But some people just aren't that smart. I mean, intelligence can be measured.
I mean, I hear you. It just sounds like we're not smart enough to do different. We've got to do.
No, you can do different, but like that's what people are trying to do when they put on all the different stuff and like they're trying to do something different, but if the issue is transmuting information into things that you can actually do, like what he was saying, metacognition or something like that, where you ask them what they want to do and then you ask them where they're trying to get, and the in-between is the part that they have to be accountable and responsible for, and you ask them what's kind of stopping them. It's the middle part that messes everybody up. So I mean, but we all can't be. I'm okay with some people just gonna be stupid. I'm okay with some people ain't gonna make it. I'm okay with some people it's just nature. Like that's just nature for me. So I'm not trying to save the world. I'm really not.
Hey, I hear you.
We can tell. We can tell, Bree.
You're not gonna make me feel bad. So okay.
I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I agree with most of your sentiments, by the way. I mean, and in fact, I think you're going a little too soft. You're being unrealistic and you're being too nice. Most people are stupid.
I said the average American reads at the 5th grade level.
You said the average. No, most. It's far more than average. Most people are just fucking idiots. They don't know their ass from the nose. They don't. You guys hit it here today. They believe in things and don't know why. Yes, and why do you believe in that? Because and the things and the stuff. What? And that there's no helping them because they're not motivated to change. And that's what's missing, the motivation.
I think it's willpower. I think people are motivated to change because I think capitalism and like our world gives you a lot of incentives for changing and be able to make it happen. I don't think people have the resilience and willpower to actually see anything through.
That's true. But if we can make that argument, we can also make the argument that they were never really motivated in the first place. Not really. You know,
I would agree. I think, like I said about ideas, people are even adopting motivations that somebody else told them. So it's not their internal motivation. Somebody else told them this is something you want to do. But when they realize after trying it, like, I really don't have the motivation, they fall off.
Right. It's like, you know, you could someone, because I know someone personally who did that. They chose a whole career based on what their father told them. I was like, you sure this is what you want to do? Yes.
Okay.
No, it sounds like, you know, you were singing a different song before your dad got in your ear. You know what I'm saying? But that person attended university, got their degree in it, and went on to do a career of it, and hates the job.
But they did it, though.
But they did it because someone told them to.
That's good. But that's good.
How is that good? You're not doing what you want to do.
I mean, at least they got it done. What else would they be doing anyway?
Something
they basic that they don't have an original thought, then I doubt
there you go.
Anything else.
And there's a lot of people like that, Bree. Is my argument. There are far more people like that than we actually realize. Most people do things based on what they're told. They never do or move in a way based on things that they've learned. There's a difference. You know, right. A good example would be religious people. You know, they read their books of worship, be it the Quran or the Holy Bible or the Torah.
Right.
And they read over the doctrines, and then those doctrines become the gospel truth. And it's just what they're taught. Someone's telling them that this is what the truth is, but, you know, we ask them to, okay, explain this to me. They can't explain it to you, you know?
Right.
They say it's just
or
because
in their
the book
regular
says
life.
so. Right. Or
they don't actually behave according to their own standards.
Exactly.
Like in real life. Yeah.
That's why you'll see people go to seminars or to church or whatever, and they'll hear a message. They're like, yeah, you know what? I need to do that. That message is speaking to me. And nothing in their life changes. You know, they'll know they're doing wrong. They'll know they need to change, but they just won't do it. And I've always been the type, even when I was a child, I was like, well, if you know you're doing wrong, why don't you just start doing right? I mean, I've never understood
it's a
it.
lot more personality than we're thinking. That's why I was like, at this point, I've just accepted that some people, because of personality traits and how they were raised or whatever, like some people just ain't, they're gonna just settle right on into mediocrity.
Yes, they are. They're gonna settle right for it. You know, and it's a shame when you got people, like I've seen people's parents try to push them towards a mediocre life, and that person has aspirations to do something far more, you know. And I've watched people actually take the advice of their parents and fall into mediocrity. And
I mean,
just think
did they have what it took? Maybe the parents peaked it. Like,
I think they did, but the parent it was one of those parents where they didn't care what the kid wanted. You're gonna do what I tell you to do. That whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, you mean more so like that? Like, okay.
Yeah, you're gonna do what I tell you to do. Well, I want to go to school for this. Well, I'm not paying for it. And then the kid's gonna like, well, how am I gonna afford this? Get student loans. Well, I don't want to have all that debt. Well, listen, you got some decisions to make then. You know what I'm saying? You want what you want, then you have to do what you got to do to get it. And I agree with you, Bree. Most people aren't resilient enough, nor do they have the willpower to see things through. But
yeah, so they can be mediocre, and that's okay.
And that, well, depends on the person, I guess.
My issue is not to harp back on Gen X. My issue is people who just settled on into the mediocrity seat.
Well, here's
20, the thing 10 to 15 years later, after you've been sitting in your mediocrity seat, it got a dent in the cushion. Now you coming on the internet raging about how your mediocre ass life isn't terrible, and you finding everybody to blame except yourself. Rashawn, don't shake your head. I see you shaking. I'm just saying. Okay, you was mediocre then. Like, ride the mediocre train to the other station, wherever that is. Why you gotta come on the internet and punish us because you mediocre?
Well, my argument to that is this: that it's not. Here's the thing: when it comes to Gen X, there's a tremendous amount of nuance, far more than the Boomers and the Silent Generation. There's the world changed, literally the way the world worked changed twice. while we were
Get
coming of
over it.
age and we were adults, and we had to adapt to it.
Mhm.
So it almost changed a third time with the crash of 2008. It almost changed, all right? I mean, we had to adapt to that as well. Now, me, I don't cry about it. I adapt and overcome it. I accept the world because I accept the world the way it is. I think most people would do better to do that first. Accept the world the way it is. And here's the thing with Gen X, like, we kind of got screwed. And I'm not a full blown Gen X. I came at the tail end. I'm like the last crop
right now.
No, I'm like the last crop of Generation X. So I'm at the tail end of it. But anyway, I was alive to see all this and notice that, Jesus, wait, this is the way the world worked before, but now, like, almost overnight, we have to do something completely different. Now degrees don't matter. Okay, and then a couple of years later, degrees had no value almost. You had to get a degree to get a starter job, like an entry-level position. And this is like whereas when we were growing up, you had a degree. Oh my God, like you can get an executive position. And it just lost its value over time because school became a business as opposed to an institute of higher learning.
But why
and training.
shame everybody who's like seen that and decided to do different? That's the part.
I don't understand the shaming. I don't understand
the shaming people who have chosen to do something different. That's kind of
right.
the part where for me is like.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't understand the shaming. What's going on, Alonzo Hall?
Now, in terms of the shaming,
go ahead.
I think it came from the fact that the world is moving a lot faster than it used to, right? So now what we have, especially since maybe 2010, is every year technology has made more advances in 1 year than back in the 1900s every 100 years. So, now we got Apple Music in our cars, right? Whereas 60 years ago, the Jetsons was thinking about phones on the wrist, and now we actually got. And so a lot of the world is still on that, go to work 40 years, retire movement. And unfortunately, the world doesn't work like that, and things like cost of living don't work like that. So, a lot of that stuff is why it's still forced. Oh, go to college and get a good job. Because, like, I think you said it, Kwai. A job used to be, if you had a degree, you would, you was the star. But what's good, y'all? I'll pause there.
Yeah, no problem. And, yeah, I agree with them. But I don't think it's the world is moving faster. It's not. The world is changing, but it's moving at the same speed. It just seems like it's moving faster because we've had different innovations. Like, we can communicate. I'm communicating with 4 people in 4 different spots in the U.S.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right now, whereas once upon a time, that wasn't even possible. I remember when 3-way calling was a new feature on the phone. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that was like, oh, you can talk to 2 people at the same time. You know what I mean? And it's like, technology changes and it makes things more convenient. But the world's still moving the same. It's just the rules are different. You know what I'm saying?
I guess, but it feels like a massive temper tantrum about it, though. Like, you're saying that like that's all true. Like, that's fine. Like, I think we all agree with that, but it just feels like Gen X is not just being like, damn, the world's changing fast. Like, it feels like a temper tantrum about it.
It's a temper tantrum because we were lied to for most of our lives. Yes, we were. And here's why. Like Alonzo just said, once, the boomers are like, okay, go to college, get a job, you know what I mean? Work that job until you retire. You can collect your retirement and your social security and you'll be okay, right? Now, if you operate by that formula today, once you retire, you're fucked.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Lied to.
We were lied to because the world, the world changed, and we would ask questions. Hold on.
Just was outdated.
No, here's what I'm saying. We would ask questions, and when we asked those questions, we were told that same lie by not only our parents and Confederates, but the politicians as well. The people who are making the rules were like, hey, you change these rules over there. Now this means that these things over here are going to change. So what's the game plan for that? Oh, nothing. Just keep going right on doing what you're doing. You'll be fine. Yep. And they told us that time after time after time after time. And we're like, okay, we want to run for office. Well, no, it's not a good time, Gen X. We'll take care of it. The boomers there are people who are in their 70s still working full-time jobs as opposed to retiring and making instead of retiring and making way for Gen X to come in, we were just fucked over for the most part. Now the complaining, I'm with you, Bree. I ain't with that. I'm not gonna complain. Again, I accept the world the way it is, so that's why I'm doing okay. And a lot of other people, no, I just explain what the reasons are. I don't complain about it. It is what it is.
Like, Gen X men are invisible to me, so I mean that's fine.
Bree,
like,
that's messed up. Why
I mean, like y'all just don't
Bree?
be like. I see why the boomers is like, you know what, y'all always have just been like y'all are just like a non-factor like at this point. So
because the boomers won't move, because the boomers got power, liked it, and just don't want to give it up.
So take it, damn it.
Here's the thing, and when we force them out of their positions, they change the rules to make what we do illegal or against the rules. That's the thing. They keep changing the rules to keep us out for whatever reason. I think it's just they want to keep. They got power. They like it, and they want to keep it, and they don't want to pass it down to anybody. That's why they carefully handpick people to run for office and things like that. Look at her.
But you're talking about boomers, and I'm talking about why are y'all yelling at millennials and Gen Z?
Because you guys are just because you guys are just
they're annoying.
Yes.
Well,
yes,
how are we
they're
annoying?
annoying.
Because we are doing something different, and we don't believe in respectability politics that y'all feel for.
No, we're not mad at you for that. Well, I can speak for me personally.
Yes.
I'm not mad at you for that. I don't believe in respectability politics.
Okay. Well, I just feel like
for example, Herschel Walker is a blithering idiot. Yet he's yet the election went into a runoff because because the people have voted for him. I'm just like, and it was largely millennials who voted in this election. And I'm just like, wait a minute, hold up.
Georgia's a red state.
Yeah, but no, we hear that guy talks. He sounds like a flat out buffoon.
But Georgia's a red state, so when you start talking about some of the stuff Raphael Warnock is talking about to conservatives, they're not gonna pick you, bro. It don't matter.
Gotcha.
So that's why, like, it's a red state, like. But I know Rashawn was shaking his head. I just want to make sure Rashawn and Alonzo don't have anything to jump in.
Nah, I'm good. Y'all can rock out. Alonzo, what you think, bro?
I mean, I'm a millennial myself. I don't really look at, the quote unquote complaining too much. I look at it from, I guess I'm an older millennial. I guess you would call me a geriatric millennial, right? I was born in 84. So I'm hitting my 40s, right? So I get to see a little bit of both. Like I got to see Gen X and, dial-up modem, T1 internet to Wi-Fi, right? So I have a dynamic position, and I understand the complaints, but when it relates to specifically Black America, I have certain things that I look at, and I'm just like, yo, we gotta kind of step up and stop the quote unquote complaining, right? And what it is that it's not exactly complaining, it's reasoning, but it seems like we have too many soundboards for, hey, this is the reason why, this is the reason why, this is the reason why. So what is our solution or execution plan? Now, what Mandrell was saying is from the boomers, I had a conversation with a boomer and, they were talking some old revolutionary shit, and, they were like, hey, and so I brought up Stokely Carmichael going after SUNY Downstate Medical Facility, which, if you ask my mother-in-law, who's in her late 60s, is still the best hospital in Brooklyn. However, it's now in danger of losing its funding because when I got diagnosed with diabetes, they told me I had flatbush diabetes, which is basically a symptom of the food desert of the now West Indian people that are in the area. So, but his thing was, well, I'm not telling you to pick up guns, but by any means necessary. And so my thing is, by any means necessary would have been things like doing the census. Hey, babe, my wife just came home. Doing things like participating in the census, right? And then he's like, oh, well, I don't trust that there government, but you asking the government to check. And, we want the politicians, and so what you saying, babe? Really too bad. I'm on live. Oh, okay. All right. I'm getting cussed at or something.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, but like I said, but what I'm saying is, Bree, instead of grooming us to have the torch passed to us, we were pretty much lied to and fucked over. Like they literally skipped a whole generation of people, and in the midst of the lies and the deception, they held us down into a position of servitude where we were forced to be employees as opposed to taking the reins and now being in control. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's because of out of scarcity and fear and greed. Greed meaning, again, they got into the power and they didn't want to give it up. You know what I'm saying? Fear, they're like, oh, no. Gen X is going to change too much shit. So they kept us out of it, And I think Gen X would have changed a lot of things because we were the first generation to come out and say, hey, wait, a lot of this shit y'all telling us don't make sense. Like racism. What's the point of that? You know what I'm saying? Before that, with the boomers and everything, is like they just kind of went along with what they were taught. Someone told them that, hey, black people are bad and evil, so they just kind of went along with it and status quo went on. Us, we were like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. Just because that person's black doesn't make them a bad person. Just because that person's white doesn't make them this, that, and the other. We started to ask questions and it freaked them out. And it freaked them out. Now, fast forward to millennials, you guys started asking not only did you ask even more questions, you started acting on it way more than we did. You know what I mean? Like, you tell us like, no, that's stupid. I'm not doing that. Why? Because it's stupid. It makes no sense. I'm going to go do this over here. Something else. And again, the millennials are getting left over. Otherwise, you still wouldn't have so many boomers in charge of stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It's crazy. Like that's two generations. The millennials are being looked over as well. Again, it started with us because we started asking questions and like nah, some of the stuff you're telling us stuff making sense, man. You know what I mean?
Well, I want to
so a lot of people complain because we did get screwed over. You guys had more of an opportunity than us because we were telling y'all, hey, watch out for this, watch out for that over there. Why doesn't this make sense?
I don't feel like Gen X was very helpful at all.
You don't think so?
But I'm going to say no. And I'm going to say that it does feel like now on the social spaces that a lot of Gen X is doubling down on stuff that doesn't work. That's more specific to the relationships.
I agree with you wholeheartedly on that.
Yeah, maybe not business stuff, but I do see there's a lot of romanticizing like old relationship dynamics and models,
traditional
and
roles and stuff like that.
Like, really riding hard for this right now. Like he said, Noah said business stuff too. It's like y'all got played, and like that's why y'all like reek on Game of Thrones.
Oh,
like,
stop it! Hey, Miss Nebraska.
We're not that bad.
No,
Good
yeah,
grief.
no, y'all are y'all that bad.
Come on now.
No, y'all that bad. That's what y'all look like to me.
We're not
it's
that
really
bad.
Like it's the audacity for me. It's the audacity for me. So I mean, it's just weird. I'd be like, so y'all the ones to comment on relationships? Okay, y'all.
Yeah,
but it makes sense why so many Gen X men sit on the internet begging for submission now. So that was
I don't get that either. And there's a lot of guys who just don't know any better, and it shocks me. I didn't understand it.
I'm saying, like,
but the thing is, I didn't know.
The
thing is, I didn't know that there were so many guys who thought this way until I got here on YouTube. Like, I'm like, first of all, why are you asking for submission?
You why are you asking about the boomers though? But you just talked about how the boomers bridge y'all to not be powerful.
They did. They absolutely did. They raised us to not be powerful and to pretty much be kind of a second fiddle, And it's a damn
why
shame.
can't y'all just realize that and just take that L and stop harassing people younger than y'all on the internet? That's all I want.
Ain't nobody harassing y'all. Y'all come to our panel.
No, y'all can't just be on the internet
complaining.
talking crazy, radicalizing people who don't know no better.
Wait, Arshawn, are you Gen X?
I'm Gen X.
Y'all can't just be on the internet spewing whatever y'all want because y'all mommy.
Arshawn, you Gen X?
Yeah,
yes,
he Gen X.
You look like a straight baby, man. That's wild.
No, I get it all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
I'd have thought you was like 16, man. Especially with that do-rag, bro.
Yeah, Bree.
Babyface.
I like talking to Bree. Bree goes hard in the paint. Bree goes hard
No,
in the
because
paint.
really, because I'm sick of y'all, and this isn't most of my smoke is for Gen X women. So like nobody up here really qualifies for the real smoke I have for Gen X.
Yeah.
I really don't fuck with Gen X women at all.
Yeah, and you should. You know what? You shouldn't. I'll tell you that. I will say
No,
that.
I don't. I just don't. He sounds like Dave Chappelle. Yeah. He So yeah, most of the smoke is because like the men, like I was saying earlier, the Gen X men are just like a non-factor. They weren't around. I didn't see them. They weren't a force. They weren't anything.
Well, see, Bree, it's a little different for men who dealt with Gen X men, because one of the major issues specifically in the Black community is that we don't have those masculine roles, right? So like the Gen X mothers talk to us any kind of way, and we went to things like the street for companionship, brotherhood, and to look for that masculinity. So then what happened is, you know, like you said, a lot of these Gen X dudes are ending up right now wilding out about Future and Sierra and Russell Wilson. And, you know, the reality is, you know, they'll throw statistic, oh, well, you know, 15% of the men are Future and they're having all the babies. Well, let's start shaming Future as a collective, right?
No, we can't do that.
Why not?
That's what that's saying.
Oh, yeah.
But like nobody's really out here like, I don't know. People like, why can't
But
people
that's
know
exactly
Future's a
what they're
fuckboy, I think. Yeah. But I'm sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought, Alonzo, because he was in the middle of saying it.
Yeah.
Oh well, no, he definitely chimed in at the perfect moment, because that's what will happen. Oh no, we can't shame the men, or what will happen is the topic will be turned directly back to the women. And I think what happened is, so that failure that happened left salty taste in young millennial men, right? So now you see us trying to go hard in the paint and be fathers in the picture, even if we have to co-parent, etc., right? So with that, you know, we're also realizing, like, I met my father for the second time in my life at 36, right? And over the phone, right? And I have way more respect for him than my little brother does, even though my brother at least physically met the dude. Now my father's a knucklehead, that's another story. But, you know, realizing now what men go through in life, I have a little softer spot in my heart for him. However, somebody's got to take the reins and lead, right? And unfortunately, boomers taught the men to tuck their tails. So Gen X was trying to figure it out. So now millennials,
we spent the bulk of our life doing that, trying to figure it out. Because again, the world changed 2.5 times, and we weren't taught shit. We were taught to tuck our tails between our legs and hold our heads down. Don't look anybody in the eye. And we spent the rest of our lives trying to figure it out. That's what happened.
Well, I mean, don't get it wrong. Millennials are trying to, you know, like I said, I'm an older millennial. I'm encroaching 40, right? So we were definitely left trying to figure it out as well. And, you know, there's even now, what we have to do is we have to idolize things. Like, if we're going to idolize, you know, people's career about making money, then let's clown Future, literally Future the rapper, who bought his son a bust down Rolex for his 5th birthday, which is not an asset that appreciates in value, right? Meanwhile, mind you, this is a guy who makes a song, I got your chain on my neck, I got your house on my neck and my chain, and I wear your retirement account in my shoestrings, whoa, right? But meanwhile, Russell Wilson did something that is unfortunately not even fostered in our community. He bought Section 529 college savings plans for all of Future's children, not just the one that he's taking care of, but all of his children. So that is a masculine flex. If we want to have, for lack of a better term, dick measuring contest, especially as black men, then we got to have dick measuring contests. And the rule is about resources, right? Land and animals. Well, since now today it's not about land and animals, it's about green paper. So let's stop flossing with bust down watches. And don't get me wrong, I'm a label whore. Everything in that picture you see is Burberry. But I'm also, you know, I always tell people I'm a financial advisor for a living. Instead of buying 4 pairs of J's a month for 5 years in a row for a 5-summer run, buy 3 pairs of J's per month and invest what you would spend on that 4th pair with me, so you could buy 3 pairs of J's a month every month for the rest of your life. I ain't get shot 5 times in front of my mama for no reason, so I tell this story everywhere I go.
Damn. That's crazy. I mean, that is the truth. Like a lot of that hood stuff. Like, I mean, Future's, he's a hood dude, and being in that culture and still, you know, partaking in that culture, whatever benefits his career. So I kind of just never expect him to really move out of that. It's just unfortunate with the rappers. Like, it's just kind of like hood culture is like adjacent, synonymous almost with rap culture. So it's just like, why would he leave that mentality? You know, he's gonna keep doing nigga shit. I just, you know, like, it just is what it is. But I do always find it weird how many men like hate Russell Wilson or make a point to talk so much shit about him.
That's because they want to be with him. That's what it is.
He
could have done better than Theory. He could have got me. I mean, he could have got another woman.
Damn. No. So, I mean, yeah. So I will always have smoke for Gen X at this point, just because at the age y'all is, like, shouldn't y'all be doing something? Shouldn't y'all be like trying to figure out how to make the best out of the next 10 years you got before you start really getting old?
I do all right for myself. I mean,
yeah, you do. You do all right.
Financially, I've done quite well. But I'm not complaining. You know what I'm saying? I figured it out.
Okay, but see, you had to have extreme focus, and you didn't get married.
That's true, and I didn't have any kids.
Right, so you just was able to focus on that.
Yeah, and I didn't have any reason to hold back. Like if I had a family, some of the moves I've made, I would not have made because I'd have been away from my family so long. You know,
that's kind of some of the problem. Like, and it's not like the single. I find it like the single Gen X men who are kind of like, I know my limits, and I'm just doing the best with what I got. It's not. It's like the married Gen X men. Oh my God, they the worst. They the worst. They be the main ones online talking the most shit. Y'all
they were raised to be simps.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Now, me personally, like, yeah, I had a dad around, you know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up in a 2-parent household. So, and I got to watch my dad move, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. How he handled things. He was a quiet man, very quiet man, you know? And, but so for the most part, I got to watch what he did, you know what I'm saying? And I tried to mimic him. He used to laugh at me because he saw me watch him. He'd take me places and things like that. Like, he'd take me to the gym with him. You know what I'm saying? When he went to work out, he'd take me. When I got like 10 or 11 years old, this is how you cut the grass. And from that day forward, he never cut the grass again.
But he wasn't a pushover, was he?
God, no. My mother is a hell raiser, right? She's a firecracker. But when my daddy said, all right, that's enough now, even she stopped.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? She didn't disrespect him, you know, and he was a man who meant what he said. His no meant no, and his yes meant yes. And he always kept his word.
He didn't get banished to the basement?
No, and he always kept his word, too. Like, if he said he was going to do something, he did it.
You know I resent that banishment to the basement.
I don't like that. I think that's like the worst. The banishment to the basement, it's the worst. But so many men, that's their reality. Like,
I'm not doing that. I mean, listen,
I had a basement man cave, so that's where I would go and like smoke and stuff because my wife got asthma, so she don't like when I smoke in the house. So I go to the basement, smoke, and
like me, the whole basic thing for me, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to bed in my bed, and you're not gonna fuss while we're laying here trying to go to sleep. You're not gonna fuss. You're gonna be quiet so I can go to sleep. or you can't get
Why
out of
would
the
she be
room.
fussing at you when you lay down to go to sleep?
Some women do that. Some women are off the chain like that, and these guys marry
That
these women for whatever
means
reason.
you want that aggressive choke stroke at midnight, bro. That's what that means.
I don't know what it
Dudes be
is.
missing the fine.
Yeah.
But I think there's a difference between like you using the basement as a space to like have all the way you want. There's an energy. There's like some women who you're like, nah, she put you in that basement, bro. She put you in there. Like not like, you know, this was like you say, oh, I smoke, or like my husband's a gamer. He has like so much game and shit. So like when we get a house, it's like, okay, yeah, you can take the basement. Yeah, you can take the basement for all the game and computers, and then he gets like really loud when he talks. But also like he still has very much energy, and when you come into our home, you can tell that he lives here and I live here. It's not just like it's me everywhere, and then he gets the basement. Like I hate that whole energy. It's like,
oh wow,
yeah, like some people you go into their house and it's like he's nowhere. Like he's nowhere until you get in his room or his basement, and I just don't like that energy.
Well, some dudes are like that though because they don't want, like, realistically, we really don't care, right? So like, I'll be honest, like in terms of like, well, we're in an apartment now, but when we were in the house, my wife did all of the decoration and stuff. Now there were touches of me, like, and she would be like, "How do you like this?" And I'd be like, "Yep."
Right. Exactly though. So like you wouldn't come in and all the shit. Like my husband will not let me paint. I love pink. He'd be like, "Don't put that mauve on it. Don't put no pink rose. No."
Oh, so you'd have no problems out of me. I mean, you want to paint it? Okay, I don't care. You want it purple, pink, and blue today? Fine. I don't care. But you know, I get it. But here's the thing: if you want it purple, pink, and blue, you better paint it your damn self. I ain't about to paint it for you. Or you gonna pay somebody to paint it. You can pay, and you can pay the most muscular Ripley guy you want to stare at all day to paint it. Go ahead, look at him while I'm playing my game. Don't bother me. And
so that don't bother you, huh?
Huh?
That doesn't bother you, like your
I'm
partner.
very secure. No, why would it? Right? Like, again, also you got to remember, I have a different level of confidence. I'm in sales, right? And I'm in intangible sales and financial services. So like, we have to have, both of us have to have extreme confidence. Like, there were times where I was out with her and friends from her job out to drinks, and we live in New York City at the time. And you know, there's some scantily clad New York chicks, and I'm sitting outside, and she's like, "Oh, girl, look, he outside talking about he having a cigarette. He talking to them girls. Oh, he taking his phone out, getting their phone number." She's like, "Girl, he trying to sell them insurance or an investment or something. He ain't worried about them bros." And I'm like, you know, but so there, you have to have, in a relationship, you have to have that confidence, right? I don't give her any reason to really, you know, think or worry about that. Now, don't get me wrong. She knows that, you know, when a girl with a big old booty walk by, she know I'm gonna break my neck and look. So she'd be like, go ahead, look. Because she knows my neck gonna be just like that emoji you just showed. Snapping my neck. And she knows, just like that. And she knows it. Right? Now, I'm not, you know, wild disrespectful and, oh my God, look at all that. You know, I'll take a quick glance and, you know, move on about my business. Right? Now, you know, it's different when I'm out with the fellas. Yeah, man, look at all that. Yeah, great googly moogly. But, you know, when I'm with my wife, it's respectful. You know, I might damn in my own head and then keep it going and be like, man, you know, her shoes were ugly. But, you know, so after that, you know, it's just an extreme confidence. Like, even we'll go to Buffalo Wild Wings. There's some muscular dude I was always teasing. You want to go sit in your boyfriend's section? Right? But I'm not, like, concerned. And she's not concerned with other people outside of our relationship, you know? And we have an understanding. So, you know, it's a little different.
Some people just don't seem to believe that that dynamic can exist. So when you said it, I was just like, you know, pause here for a second, because I'm the same way. I don't think
Man,
about
listen.
it. I don't want to pretend that he's not a man anymore because we're married. He doesn't see anybody but me. The sun rises and sets with me. Like, I just don't have that mindset. So it was just good to hear that. I don't really think like that. You just keep it respectful. But I also believe the best. And like you were like, you were a man before you met me. You're gonna be a man if we not together, whatever. Like, you've lived life before me. You had to figure out how to navigate the world. You know what boundaries are too far. Like, I just kind of
amazing.
So yeah, I just thought that was good that you said that, because I think too many men are insecure and like also get mad when you say they insecure. And I always tell Yellow this. I'll be like, I don't think you understand what secure means, Yellow. Like, he was talking on the stream, and I was like, I don't think you understand the definition of secure. So he kind of got mad about that. So that's gonna be on my nanny boo boo screen. But Rashawn, you've been muted too long.
Nah, don't worry about me. I'm just letting y'all. The conversation was flowing.
Because you be making faces over there, like you got snide comments, and I just, like to make sure. That's all.
You just
What you checking me? Is that what that is?
Yep.
Nah, that's not how that goes.
Then you'll go do, you'll be like, oh, I'm raging. I have to say.
Oh, would you call me passive aggressive?
Nah,
I'll tell you, there's a problem.
Okay.
As long as you keep it respectful, we good. That's
but yeah,
respect. Nah, we good. I'm cool. I was just handling other stuff while y'all were talking.
No,
it afforded me the opportunity to do a couple things.
No. I have to go to the restaurant. So I'll be back. I gotta pee.
Okay.
I here drink this whole cup of water. Like, why am I doing this? I'm gonna have to pee in like 5 minutes.
I can't stand it.
He calling me aggressive.
Aggressive.
Nah, I'm with you. And to go back, I am indeed a Gen Xer. I know I didn't get that. I haven't talked since then. Miss Nebraska. I am indeed a Gen Xer. I did not know that I was older than you. I'm older than most people in this space, though, so I don't be tripping. It's sad, but yeah. I'm 43. 43.
What? Yo, you got the ill baby face, bro.
No, it's a problem. That by the 40s, that doesn't work in your favor. It doesn't work. It was cool in my 20s. In my 30s, it was cool. But by now the 40s, it's not. It's not.
You don't like having the baby face in your 40s?
Nah, it's not good.
Listen, man, I'm about to hit my 40s, bro. Don't tell me that.
You don't want the baby face in your 40s. But but you got you have you're not single. That's what I'm talking like.
Yeah, I'm married. Listen, bro. That's a misconception. The wedding ring. You think having a baby face, man? Listen, the wedding ring is a pit bull attractant, bro. Like, I get so much box thrown at me.
Good
evening, mister. For being married, it's insane. Yeah. Like, because I guess women are like, oh, he's not afraid of commitment. Let me see if there's a chink in his armor. I could see a little bit of upset in this. And man, I done had chicks be like, don't you want to get me pregnant and leave your wife? Like, what? Yeah. Be like, no and no. Because I could tell you're going to try and be a crazy baby mom. Bitch used to try and choke me.
Nah, it's a problem the way the people approach you. But I was just saying, as far as the baby face thing, the type of people, the age of the person that might be attracted to you because you have a baby face, I'm like, wait, kids.
Let me ask you, what do you consider too young now that you're 43?
Oh my God, I wouldn't want to go to 35. Like 35 is
really.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to. No, I don't. The mentality, man.
I can understand that. But I would think, because I would say a 20-year difference, right? So I would say nothing for you, basically 25, right? Because at that point,
too young.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too young. Like, I had somebody, I like 35. I really wouldn't even want to date somebody that young. Like, honestly, I really wouldn't want to date somebody under 40. Like, because there's typically like a change that happens around 40. I like somebody who have already settled that 40. Like when a woman hits 40, there's some stuff that goes down. Not just
in the brain,
but like chemically. You know what I'm saying? Like their hormones start changing. I want you to get that settled first.
Oh, you like that high sex drive of them 40-year-olds. That's what it is. You be in there every night clapping cheeks.
I'm saying I want them to have hit that. I want them to have hit that and know what's going on, as opposed to like everything being stable and then they hit that. You know what I'm saying? I want stability.
That's me. You gotta unmute, Shorty.
Salute, Sim.
I said, what be happening to them? Do they cry a lot? Is it midlife crisis?
Nah, usually that's when they hit their sexual, they be wanting, that's where, like, for example, before I met my wife, I was messing with this older woman, and they was like, yo, and she was married, but the reason that she was messing around, she was, her husband was in his 50s, he wasn't giving her the attention she was used to, so she was like, listen, I need some cheek clapping. And so she bought me a PS2 and all that stuff.
The PlayStation. Yeah, I totally said if for some reason I'm not married in that age, I'm definitely gonna be like paying young men to just be around and go home. I'm never gonna get remarried. If this one don't work, it's not happening. So yeah, that'll just be the life.
There you go, Miss Nebraska. There you go.
Plus they'll cook for you.
Yeah, if they haven't, but that's that thing. If they haven't hit that second win and settled that, because there's nothing worse than thinking you have something settled and then they hit that and it throws everything into disruption.
Ooh, it's real.
Like the 50-year-old guy, he probably wasn't expecting his wife to hit that streak, and then now she's sleeping around. Like
she might have been ignoring him up until that point too. She might have even not been like big on it, which is probably why he already quiet quit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's suddenly feeling again. But yeah, the quiet quit in marriage has got to stop. I just don't agree with quiet quit in marriage. I don't like that.
Everybody's doing it though. I don't know how we stop it.
Is everybody Gen X? Yes.
Oh, here we go.
No, because that's what y'all do. I'm just saying it's a Gen X thing. Maybe Zennials. The millennials right up under y'all.
It's gonna happen to y'all too. It's a human nature thing. Y'all are not special. Y'all are not special.
Woo. She said the granny. Listen, grannies could go round though. I ain't even gonna hold you. I ain't even gonna hold you, son. Hard body, they could go around, yo. That's a fact from Brooklyn, cuz.
That is too funny. But yeah, I know Mandra said he'd be right back. He out. Honestly though, like that whole thing, like I wish people understood. Like this is what got lost. I know y'all were having a conversation about the different generations. This is actually what got lost was the knowledge. Somewhere around the 60s and 70s, I'm gonna say for Black people, when we were fighting for civil rights, so many Black men got taken out, like whether it was incarceration or like death, or mentally. Or like just mentally, psychologically getting broken by your oppressor. That's going to have an effect on you.
I don't mean to interrupt, but why would you eating on?
Zaxby's. Sorry.
Oh shit, that's why it looked like it's slapping.
Yeah,
my fault. Go ahead, bro. She's sitting there munching. I'm like, yo, how you gonna munch on the screen and make it look good? And eating damn Zaxby's. That's why.
Turn my camera off. Sorry, he was saying something real. Hold on, my bad.
He probably in the bedroom.
You got, and I was gonna say after all that, then you go into the 80s because those people who are broken are going to look for copium. You know, you got the crack epidemic. Everybody, looking for something to deal with all that brokenness. So after all of that, after all of the brokenness and people getting taken out, whether it's incarceration or death and drugs, after all of that, who's left to teach the young men how to be men? Who's left to teach the young men what wives? How do you see the men and the women transition through the phases of life? Where do you get the knowledge from? A lot of times, I mean, everybody's like, go read a book, man, but there's too many books. You can't read all the books. Which ones do you go to? Like, we're information overload at this point. So who's actually trying to teach somebody and not trying to commodify? Like we were talking about, like the stream last night with Hanifa. The guy wrote 28 books. So however many books, how many of those are pertinent? How many of those have a lot of filler? Because I need to sell more books because that's how I make my living. So there is a problem with us just getting exact, useful information because everybody can sell us the information. So they add more filler and fluff to it as opposed to just imparting it like your parents would, like your aunts and uncles would. They just give you what you need just to meet. Everybody want to give you a lot of side dishes, upsell you. And that's where we have a problem. The men didn't have, like Mandro was talking about the Gen X. We didn't have the modeling and we don't have the information. So what are we supposed to do? Yeah, we got broken down and then we don't know how to navigate. Even like to go, like when we're talking about the warriors, the race warriors, just like us, we don't know how to go out and conquer. So we're going to talk a lot and not do a lot. I mean, we could do stuff, but it's going to be maladapted. A lot of it's going to be coping. A lot of it's going to be escapism. We keep falling into the same traps. And what I'm saying is because y'all didn't have the models, a lot of y'all going to fall into the same traps too. Now, yeah, there's a lot of information out there, but there's a lot more bad information too.
That's true.
So it's going to be, y'all going to have y'all's own set of problems.
Yeah, we're gonna have our own brand of failures. That's definitely like when we hit 40s and like as more millennials start hitting it, we'll probably definitely get an idea of what our brand of 40-year-old pout is gonna be, So I mean, I understand it. This was like, and that's why I was saying like it's just hard growing up with it and seeing it. And I think just seeing it on the internet is just kind of like triggering because it's just like now y'all got everything to say now, huh? But y'all wasn't in here reeling in these crazy ass women we had to be stuck dealing with.
No. And that's how you look. Like, okay, this is something that goes unsaid. Like this is something that we all kind of feel it. We all kind of feel it, but it's hard to want to say it or it's hard to put words to it. The people that survived certain phenomena, that it speaks to something. So if you got to a certain age, like as a black man, let's say you're 80 right now, there's a lot of things that you probably were not involved in. One of them was probably not in the streets. One of them, you might not have been deep in the civil rights as much. You might have been in some safe civil rights stuff. You weren't like the Fred Hamptons. You weren't like you weren't doing some dangerous stuff. Like there's a lot of, if you live to a certain age in the black community, there's a lot of things that you had to skip, good and bad. A lot of death traps, fighting for black people or just fighting to survive. There's a lot of death traps. So anybody that survived to a good old ripe age, man, we know they navigated life in a certain middle ground and like in a certain little tucked in safety zone. To afford yourself to be able to write 30 books, to have that kind of ample time. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain things that you just weren't doing. Like I
haven't thought about that actually.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you could think about the flaneur, like in that situation, yeah. But like even the men who, like you said, like a certain high crimes, like violent era you came out of, is like civil rights and like crack epidemic, like a lot of black people, less now, but most black people from a certain generation, you probably was in the hood if you was black,
And
so
if they came out of it, they wear the scars of it. You can tell the people that survived it, but barely. And you can tell people that wear the aesthetic, but were never really there. You know what I'm saying? Like the people who are in the suburbs, but have taken on the look of I was from the hood. Like those are, but we know that stuff. We don't really call it out. And even like the men that have all day to spend online talking about women, it says something. Like, why is so much of your time devoted to this thing? How do you have that much time available?
Like how?
Do you have that much time available if you put it towards something actually productive, like Mandrell and Alonzo were talking about? Whether it's crypto. Yeah, so if you do something productive with your time, you wouldn't have the same problems with the women to complain about the women, because you'd be so satisfied with your life, either through the work or the investments, because the women will come and you'd have nothing to complain about except for where to spend the money and which person you're going to go on a date with. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that. It's the way everything we're working against ourselves. It's so crazy. So crazy.
And you know what? I think you may just give me some empathy points over there for Gen X. I think I just had I never actually thought about but I really never thought about it. Like if you think about people who survived, like kind of thing, like what kind of character traits they probably had to have or behaviors they had to have, and then you like look at that and you're like, okay, so they're probably more passive, more like down the middle, more this and that. So like that makes sense. I never really thought about it.
Yeah, that's what we're here for, Brie. That's why we're here.
Okay, that's cool.
That wasn't the insult. I'm just saying that's why I'm here. That wasn't a shot. That wasn't a shot.
Because I was just like, this. Nope, don't.
You
do
better
that.
say my man.
No, that's your shit. Yeah, that's the shadow self was like, we didn't like that. I don't know why. She be
assume negative intent.
But no, I didn't assume a negative intent. I just
your shadow did
something about it. I was just like,
see.
No, I think it was just like I'm not gonna change though. I'm just saying.
No, you're not. I'm not even saying
new information, because you know how people's like, you new information and then you take a new. I was like, yeah, I could do the first part. It's new information, and like I could think about it a little bit. But I think I already came in knowing that like I don't really have a lot of smoke for the men because they just kind of were quiet and not around. So I don't really have much critique of them anyway because they just weren't around.
Hey, listen. If you're gonna have some empathy points for them, you might want to have some empathy points for the women who are left standing and holding the bag. I mean, I just heard something today from some people on this show, this radio show, and they were talking about 70% of the people in the Black Panthers were women. Like, so Black women have been holding the front lines of a lot from civil rights in the church to churches right now. 70 to 80% of the participation in almost anything civic and social is women. So anytime the men disappeared, women were left holding up not only their families, but the families that they typically as, what do you call that? I don't know what that, like house helpers, you know what I'm saying? Into white communities.
Right.
Like those type of roles. Yeah. So like from slavery on, Black women have been taking care of other people's families and then having to take care of their own and maybe not having the access to the men in the community as well. So we should extend a little bit of grace their way too.
I think a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. But some of the other stuff was just completely unnecessary.
You just don't like it.
I don't. I have valid reasons for not liking them. So it's gonna be hard to like change that overnight.
And that goes back to that whole race thing. There are valid reasons for people to feel how we feel and how they feel, but then what are we gonna do about it? Like what's the end what? So we gotta do something different.
When you say that, I'm like, what would be the solution? I just don't fuck with them. But you can't throw a whole generation of people away. That's fine. But people who like want to come to the conversation and like have it, you could tell. I think you could tell. Like Candy Dan said, she's Gen X. She's like, okay, you're obviously willing to have a conversation and talk and like, but you know those people when you come across them. I think I just believe. Yeah, the energy is different. So, but most of the normal people who just still in the hustle and bustle of things, like I've had lately some very like one-on-one close interaction with a woman who is a Gen X. She's on the higher end, close to the boomer side, because I'm helping her with some, family stuff. And it's a lot. Like I can understand why men just be like, just let her do. Just let her be over there because it's just so hard. Like some of the behavior patterns in the thought processes, it's just a mess. It's just a mess. Very sweet though. Like she's nice and she's like, but it's almost like you get the feeling that she just doesn't know what to do. And she has like a simultaneous just rejection of everything.
Yes.
And so it's just really, so then she ends up in a space where nothing is happening. Like time is just going and she's like she hasn't done anything because she like, she can't do it herself. She won't ask for help. She rejects anything that's not from her, but she doesn't come up with stuff because she has no information. So it's just like very hard to deal with, So yeah.
Yeah, she's paralyzed. That's that Gen toxicity kicking in. That's that Gen X toxicity.
And then I wonder, because you're like, dang, like how does that? Well, I don't wonder, but then when you see outcomes and you see certain dynamics, like in relationships, you're like, oh, well, I kind of see, like, because like you said, if it's true in one area, it's probably true in all areas. So now I can see why. It's like she's another one of those never got married, single, you know, just all that. So I'm like, yeah, I can see how that dynamic can like be tough if that's how you are. So yeah. I've been getting some on the ground experience lately.
There you go. Boots on the ground. Go ahead, Bree.
See, there you go. I'm therapizing myself. I'm
Yes.
therapizing myself. But yeah.
You're gonna forgive us one day.
Okay. I already forgave y'all. That does right? You forgive. What's the you?
Understand.
Okay, I'm working on that part.
Okay, so you forgave us. Now you're working on understanding us.
Yeah.
And then eventually you'll give us grace.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Once I understand y'all, I can give y'all a little bit more grace. And I'm getting there. Like, I feel like even in this conversation, I've gotten something that can like, okay, I give y'all a little bit of grace. So,
okay. That's what, then we've done something positive. I know. I like it. I like doing the work. One day at a time, y'all. One conversation at a time. But Alonzo Hall, Mandrill, I really appreciate y'all for coming up. We're getting ready to start to close out. But I honestly appreciate what y'all brought to the conversation. I know Mandrill's away, but Alonzo, definitely appreciate you coming up. Hope you do the next time we're up here as well.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you. Hey.
Do you have a channel, Alonzo? You want to shout out your channel, anything?
Yes. My full name actually, Alonzo Hall, the All-Star Advisor. Like I said, 2008, 3 days before Mother's Day, I got shot 5 times in front of my mother in a Traco. That's Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I sell life insurance and retirement and investment. My goal is to teach, young black men how to, try to be 50 Cent and avoid being 25 Cent like me getting shot half as many times.
Yeah, man, that's a story, man. But like they say, when you turned like tragedy into triumph, man. Something that could have took you out, man. But you here and you're teaching, like you're giving back, you're pouring in the next generation. So I know that's definitely one of the solutions that a lot of people are overlooking. That you're actually gonna have to transmit the information. And if you know they're not reading books, man, let's give it to them. Meet them where they are. So man, I appreciate what you're doing. And financial is really one of the biggest things in our community. Because we can't even deal with some of the psychological stuff until we have enough money to even pay for some psychologists to step in and help us with some of that trauma. So I appreciate you, bro.
No doubt. Salute.
Sir, what's up, Yellow Pill? Dang,
yeah,
what's up?
Because I'll go live right after. I'll go live right after this. Just to push you out.
Now, Mandrill, are you back, bro?
No, he not here.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and drop y'all off, and I appreciate you. Ooh, wait, I'm just trying to. I don't even know. There we go. Appreciate y'all. All right, Breezy Bree, man, I really appreciate you for having this conversation with me. Now, is there anything you want to say in closing before we get ready to get out of here?
No, like Nova said, I got 2% more grace for Gen X now, as long with Nova. It was a good conversation talking about some of the stuff in transactionalism. I think it'll branch off to other conversations, but I'm trying to behave. It's the first Isms Show back from vacation, so I'm really trying to use, I've been trying to, listen
you're trying
a bit.
It feels like you're trying to. I don't even know if I like it though. It feels like you're trying. I would almost say like be better, but it's almost like a softer, kinder Brie. I don't know.
I am actually soft and kind. I don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all, you ain't got used to my other side.
Yeah, I got used to the
but no, that's my other side. That's you talking about me with my set it off braids. I've been that way.
No. I'm talking about like not before the set off braids. You always have carried an air of like fuck air. Like here we go. Or where you go? This was the energy I got used to. But I would say the last month and a half has been like, you know what? Maybe fuck everybody, but maybe not. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all
like
told me I'm privileged and I'm this and that and I can't be commenting on stuff. So I'm like, okay, let me listen.
What? Oh, you're trying to listen? I don't like that. I don't like that version.
I be trying to listen. If I truly can't relate to in a certain way, then I have to learn. I have to listen.
Nah,
I'm gonna be able to relate.
I'm with you, and trust me, I've learned a lot from our conversation. So I appreciate you completely and thoroughly. Just want to say I appreciate you, and whatever growth or development that you're working on, hey, I support it. But listen, everybody on YouTube, I am getting ready to close out the YouTube side. I'm going to play the outro, and it will be it for y'all. And I'm going to see what Yella's doing. So I'm going to see what Yella's doing, if he's going to pop up since he got something to say.
What? What is that?
I don't know.
Is Yella free? He's supposed to be popping up?
I don't know. He said he was off today. So, hey, listen, I'm dropping the link. Go ahead and hit the link. I'm getting ready to hit the outro. Then I'm going to drop off YouTube. I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a wonderful evening, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.
So, what is this ism?
Here's the answer to your problems. Dr. Utopia's sensational new discovery, Ism. Ism will cure any ailment of the body politic. It's terrific. It's tremendous. Once you swallow the contents of this bottle, you'll have the bountiful benefit of higher wages, shorter hours, and security. Enormous profits, no strikes. Remember, you're the big boss.
You know how long the ism been around?
Yeah.
The ism probably been around longer than the Illuminati. But we have different rituals. You know, it's always a ritual to a secret society that we live in. Ism is a secret society. It's a culture. It's a vernacular.
When you expand your emotional vocabulary, you expand your awareness of yourself. When you expand your emotional vocabulary, you understand how you can navigate in this bitch. This fucking weird-ass world that is so hard on y'all. Like, let's acknowledge that the world is very difficult for y'all, but y'all are not making it any easier, bruh. You're not. You might not like my fucking delivery, but motherfuckers is starting to talk, you know? Shaking the tables, I don't give a fuck.
Not a good day. Okay? Now back to that one.
Oh my God, she's so hot.